Hi everybody, and welcome back to Vampire the Masquerade New York by Night, episode 16. Chugging along here. And, as usual, we'll just do, sentence or so from each of our characters here, where they are, how they're feeling, especially after last week for a few of you. But let's start with Articus as Felix, who had a fun little misadventure, wild adventure, what you might call it, in the cemetery last week.
Bonjour. So, because I'm not, invited to all the fun sad-offs, I had to invent my own things with freaking werewolf ghosts, blackjack and werewolf ghosts and everything. So, venturing into the graveyard, thinking that, maybe it's a ghost-eating ghost world, but no, it's ghost-eating vampire kindred thing. Anyway, we got the hell out of there with Maria, and, well, that's its own conundrum now that she knows the magic.
Next we'll have Zabani as Angel.
I don't really know what to say about last week. Lots of shit happened. I stabbed Ike, and Kim made us all go kind of crazy. That was an experience. Really, I'd rather not talk about it, honestly.
Well, how about Ike? How do you feel about it?
Sorry, I had the stream on. I don't know how I feel. I just want to get over this. It's whatever.
What about you, Kim? You kind of started a bit of that mess.
Yeah, I did. So we had brought Daniel, the ZVC that we had found, home to my home. And as I was putting him in the other room, Angel staked Ike, and I kind of came back to that scene. Then Nate, who Ike had called earlier, showed up, and I yelled at him because I did not want him to stake Daniel when I had pretty much promised him I wouldn't do that this time, especially since it was in my house. And he would not listen, and so I affected everyone's minds to then be able to calm them down, and it kind of, I had never done that before, and it was kind of horrifying seeing all of my friends that way. So I don't know. It got too close to sunrise, and I closed the blinds, and we all are just sleeping at my house at the moment.
And last but not least, Nate, who kind of walked in a bit more into all of it. How are you feeling?
I walked into a room with a lot of screaming going on. I hugged a Lasombra. There is Misi sleeping in the bathroom. And all in all, it has been a relatively traumatic evening. I doubt I really have much more to say that the three of them haven't. Just we'll see where we get to tomorrow.
Alright, well, I actually want to start out with Felix. Because everybody else has passed out after all that fun, but I think you're still walking Maria home?
That seems like the most logical choice of action. I'll go with yes.
Wait, neither of us can remember 100% the last 5 minutes. But I believe you had been convincing Maria to calm down. You were even trying to, tell her a bit about how trying to make her think it's exciting, not scary. You did actually walk back towards the cemetery to get a closer look at the thing, but you saw it sort of just started pacing like a dog in its cage after it attacks the bars, but has been left alone. It's sort of just now pacing around as if it's being territorial, but you didn't get too close. You're just watching in a bit. You calmed her down a little, convinced her to think of it maybe as something wild and new, as she did seem an adventurous sort. You started walking away with her to just get out of the area, and you saw a few drunk people walking down the street, but you convinced them that they needed to get going.
Rabbit dogs and everything.
Yes, rabbit dogs. So, no, they took off because they were, I don't want to deal with that. and now you're able to leave the area together with your new gal pal.
Yeah, I believe she was quite impressed that I just quickly said Figaro dog, and everyone's like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was actually impressed with your ability to think on your feet of what would first, like, right away get these people to be like, oh no, I want to get out of this area, rather than like, there's a ghost.
Ooh. It's the ghost of your own past.
So you're walking along with Maria. She's still maybe like wringing her hands a little bit and like tugging on her sweater, just a little creeped out by the whole thing. But you were pretty convincing about like, now you've just seen something new you've never seen in your life. Isn't that in a way at least kind of cool? And as a reminder, you do have also Benedict waiting for you at Roland's club.
I might have totally forgot it.
That's
yes.
why I gave you a reminder.
Yes. That thing that I totally remember. Yes. Yes, it is.
I know my storylines can be a little complicated, so I try to help out.
No, it definitely helps. Yes, so, it's an interesting, it's an interesting event, if you will. I mean, it seems to be locked in its cage. Over there, so as long as we just don't go in there while it's out, we should be good.
You're thinking of going back there?
Well, yes. What happens if it reawakens and tries to attack someone else?
I mean, I guess you've got a point, and you seem to have a sort of a handle on this stuff. How long have you been doing things like this?
It feels like decades.
I can imagine. Tonight already feels like a week.
Yes, time sure flies with that kind of thing. Well, obviously, this isn't something that we just share with everyone. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say this to anyone anyway. Why would they have any reason to believe me? I didn't believe you when I thought you were talking to a ghost.
I could tell. And honestly, I wasn't really expecting to have to prove it tonight anyway. And I didn't mean to prove it in any way either. Seems like it didn't like someone who could see very well. But once you slowly start seeing one, you're probably gonna start seeing more.
So now I'm gonna start seeing these things, and the further away you get from the cemetery, you start hearing a little more city activity. It's getting far later into the night. It's like 3-ish now, but there's still like a couple buses that run around. There's still drunk, college kids leaving the bars and heading back to their apartments, things like that. But you're starting to like feel like you're back in the city.
Gotcha. Am I kind of heading towards where Benedict wants to meet me? So am I like getting, one stone, two birds?
Yeah, so Trinity Cemetery Church, Trinity Church Cemetery was far, far south down in Manhattan, and the Rebel's Kiss is mid-south. So you guys are walking basically more north, heading in that direction, which is also more towards where you met Maria, and even if she hadn't said anything, you can kind of like tell her feet are leading her back like the direction she needs to get going, either to go home or where she was going originally.
So, and just to let you know, this is kind of the tip of an iceberg. The tip of an iceberg that just turned over and caused a lot of noise, but it's still a tip of the iceberg.
What do you mean? There's things crazier than that?
Yeah. Most of the time, not as much, but most of them are, I wouldn't say friendly, but just neutral, kind of like people.
So, like, that girl, I guess you were speaking with?
That one was friendly, or kind of friendly. She was probably enjoying all the fun we were having. They tend to like emotion.
I mean, I guess that makes some sense. Like, they miss it from being human.
Yeah, something like that. And, well, they all latch into a certain emotion. And hers seemed to be happiness, in a way.
That just sounds crazy to hear about a ghost. Like her. I mean, you know, my only experience is movies, to be honest. And maybe books or whatever. But it's always sad or angry. Like, that's why they're stuck here.
Oh, no, sometimes they have really, really silly reasons why they're here.
Well, like what? Why would a happy ghost, or why would someone stay behind and be happy?
They might want to stay behind because they didn't feel like they put enough joy in the world.
She's going to very much, like, stare at the ground while you guys keep walking and sort of soak that in. Huh. Never thought of it that way, or that a ghost might feel that way.
Well, I mean, an angry or a sad ghost makes a great movie or story. Not
That's a
the
good
happy
point.
one. Not the happy one that just wants to, spread joy and everything.
You know, now that you say it, like, why not? That could be fun.
Could be. Now, however, I guess typically when you see ghosts, it's usually because of something tragic happened just before the death. So I don't know what that would be about for her.
Like the classic left something undone.
Quite possibly. I mean, I don't know the specifics of why. That would be a great thing to try to figure out, but I don't even think they know why.
Huh. Oh, so like, you know, they're stuck, but they're not even sure. Is that what people like you do? Help them out?
I try to. Sometimes a lot of things they want to do, they can't do because they're not physically, albeit the food and everything. And when things start tearing up or things get worse or whatever happens, you get to kind of experience that you just got to before. Usually the older they get, the worse they can be. Typically don't get ghosts that are really old. You usually get very young ones.
So they usually figure their shit out and go their merry way, and the ones that are stuck are the ones that turn out like that thing?
Sadly, yes.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Well, it is interesting though. The one we were talking to, she was very old.
Huh.
Curious thought though.
That is.
So is it about? I'll probably just keep talking with her, just kind of have.
Yeah, and you guys have gotten to a much more busy street, and if you guys like keep walking and talking, she'll even kind of make a natural pause at a nearby bus stop.
Oh, by all means. I believe we exchanged numbers, so if you ever want to have some more adventures, maybe a little less dangerous.
Yeah, Felix, I will say I'll probably give you a call, but I might need a day or two to process some of this, and I don't think I'm going to be going anywhere near any cemeteries for a little time now.
Oh, quite fine. I actually probably suggested jumping in. But, just let me know, because, well, as they say, every day is mundane. It's interesting when it's not.
That's a good point.
But you still need a decompile a little mundane every once in a while.
Oh,
I like to read.
yeah. I mean, I love going hiking and fishing and rowing and all those things, but every now and then you need a weekend to just binge some Netflix, you know?
Yes. Netflix, of course. Note to self, we'll ask about Netflix later.
I love throwing out random things for Felix. He's basically Captain America with a little list.
It's true. Shoot. So I'll say my my goodbyes, and I think I'll head towards Benedict.
Alright, so she just stays at the bus stop and gives you a little hand wave. You head towards Rebel's Kiss, and the closer and closer you get, you start hearing the loud pounding music from inside. So. Let's bring the song back. All these stupid tracks. Oh, this has a guitar line in it, so it's gonna be 10 times louder. Anyway, so you get closer and closer to the club, and you can hear this loud music from outside going on. And as you get closer, you'll see the two bouncers outside. Otherwise, the club looks like it's pretty quiet, nothing crazy going on. No, bar fights, people being thrown through windows.
If I remember, one was Erickson or something like that.
Thor Erickson.
Erickson.
Caleb.
How did I get confused?
And Caleb, I think his last name was, sorry about an H.
Gotcha. I think I have that. But,
Caleb, no, that's not the right one. Anyway,
now, I think I use a back route to get in. Or it should be fun and go through the
Benedict did say he was going to meet you in one of the back alleys, not in the club.
Gotcha.
So if you circle down the alley and head towards the back, you'll see him standing with, like, his back leaning against the brick. Though he looks like he did that first time he met you at the Chantry, where it just looks like a swarthy, middle-aged man, short, curly hair. But you could even recognize his clothes because he wears basically the same thing all the time.
Right. I'll approach. Ben, was it?
I prefer Benedict, but yeah, how's it going?
It's an interesting night. Aren't they all?
Yeah, sounds par for the course.
So, I believe we had some information. Sorry, I was a little quick on the phone.
Yeah, no, that's alright. Listen. And he's gonna step a little closer and take out a small little package from inside his coat. It's like a little plastic box, and he's gonna handing it towards you.
What's in the box? And Felix, what is this?
It's a drive. It's got some videos on it. You're gonna want to find a computer to play them, but it's gonna be pretty interesting. From what I gathered, the other Nosferatu in the city, they had some more evidence about what's going on down there than they were leading on when I asked them. So I just stole it. I always get a kick out of stealing from Gerard anyway, so why not? Not the originals, obviously, copies, but it has all the same information. Took a quick look myself. There's some interesting looking fellas that seem to be of in and out of the sewers now and again. There's timestamps, all that sort of thing. But, to talk about payment, I think you mentioned before you're one of the, sorts that can talk to the second side.
Oh, yes.
Right. So he's gonna reach into his coat again and pull out another, like, small envelope. You can feel it's got, like, a paper that's been, like, folded up a couple times inside it, but otherwise it was sealed. And he hands it over to you. There's a couple places I'd like if you could check them out. See if there's anyone wandering around without a body anymore that might be from the war and might have some information on essentially what you're already looking into. Who might be left over, what plans might have been. I'll say honestly, I don't know how ghosts work, but if they can fight back, they might be a little pissy if you're asking into their history, but it might be the best way to actually find out what's going on currently.
I have ways of being convincing.
Yeah, that's what I've heard about you, Tremere.
Okay, so it's interesting. I feel like that's actually a funny bit. You keep giving me payments like this, I think this will work out very well.
Well, as old as I am and all the tricks I've got up my sleeve, I certainly can't talk to ghosts, so that's why we make these little arrangements.
That's... yes, I can see that. Probably a little easier than dealing with the geos.
Or trying to talk to any Sabat directly.
That too. I imagine they're not very receptive.
Not generally.
So, this drive thingy, I just plug it in and it just works?
Yeah, it's a USB, so all you gotta do is find yourself a basic computer, plug it in, you find the files, pull them up. As long as there's software to run it, you'll be perfectly fine. I'd obviously make sure, you've got a secure network, you're not gonna have anyone, pull the files off your computer while you're looking at them, and of course, make sure no one important's looking over your shoulder. Well, anyone you don't want looking over your shoulder.
Gotcha, so security with these. I think
Yeah.
I can handle that.
Alright.
I have no idea what I do. So have you heard any other rumors about the sewers?
Not that much more than I got here on the tapes and what I told you before. All I know is everyone's been a bit hush-hush. They don't want to deal with me. I understand we never had great standing, but even Calibros, who, has been a bit of a friend for a long time, just says he's not exactly sure what's going on. They're just watching and waiting.
What other name did Benedict drop? It was Calibros.
Calibros, which you've probably heard a few times. Even if Felix was a little washy about it, you'd probably recognize it as an important name from the war.
And he stole from Gregory? Was that
Gerard.
Gerard.
Which, did you actually go down to the sewers yourself?
Not to the Nazi one.
Right, okay. So in that case, you probably didn't really understand when he said Gerard, but you have, other kindred in the city. You might be able to drop that name and see what happens.
Right. So, how's on life?
He just crosses his arms and leans back against the building. Same old. You really want to chit-chat, or you just try to be nice?
Well, I'm talking to someone who had a lot more experience, a lot more ear on the ground. I just thought it was both nice and
beneficial.
yes.
I don't really fault anyone from trying to learn more about this bullshit society we live in, especially as Camarilla.
Right.
So, any questions? If they're simple enough, I won't charge.
We'll see if they're simple enough. The war. I'm not exactly sure what exactly happens, but curious enough, are there certain names I should avoid if I do?
Benedict's gonna give a quick look around, and he's gonna nod his head toward the door that leads down to Roland's basement apartment. And he say, I don't think Roland's around, but I've got free access to the place. Might be better to talk there than out here on the street.
That sounds
So he leads you down to the basement apartment, and after the elevator door opens, you'll see O'Connell and Clementine, which I think you've at least seen a couple times, sitting like on a bed and just chit-chatting. He's just gonna give O'Connell a very knowing nod, and she'll like kind of just nod back, and she'll keep talking to Clementine. Clementine will pay attention to O'Connell, but she'll keep glancing in your direction out of childhood curiosity. But Benedict will wave, he'll drop the disguise, so now he's back to his normal Nosferatu look, and he'll wave his long-fingered, long-clawed hand toward a desk that has a couple chairs.
Great. I'll sit.
So he grabs one, sits in it, and like again, just sort of, he's got a very relaxed attitude, so he just leans back. Alright, so you want to know about the war, I guess?
Yes, all the parts that don't get.
And at that, Clementine's again gonna kind of turn a little bit on the bed, paying attention to what's going on. O'Connell will have a body language of watching what's going on and like, alright, not too much, Benedict. So Benedict's gonna give you a big snaggly toothed smile. Specific questions, or you just want a summary?
I probably need this.
Alright, well, to not talk your ear off or waste the rest of the night as it's not too far from sunrise, shorthand is, spot used to own New York for ages. Basically all 5 of the boroughs, except a couple spots where the Setites and the Giovanni and even a couple Ravnos have set up spots. Basically where they are now is areas they already owned before. So, Camarilla wanted territory, like they always do. And, say it was about easily some 30, 40 years in the making. Wasn't just gather the troops one weekend and go at it. There's people who infiltrated Wall Street, and, came in and took smaller portions of the city for themselves. Manhattan was the first base ground. There's I think her name was Michaela, something like that. She was an unofficial prince for a little while. Yada yada yada. They kept gathering their troops. They started working with the Setites and Giovanni, making deals back and forth. You do this for us, we'll make sure you got your place, and we'll even give you this, money, whatever. Even the Prince of London got fucking involved. So after that, decades of all this planning and back street, deals, eventually it became time to pull the plug, and that was just 6 straight days of actual guerrilla warfare. They found out where the Setite, or where all the Sabbat lived, all the different packs, figured out, where they went, how they acted, and basically hired all the ghouls to burn down their places in the middle of the day, cut off all their finances, so on and so forth. I'm sure you've heard plenty of this typical Camarilla bullshit. And at the end of it, anyone that was still left alive fled the city.
Except possibly the Swiss.
Well, yeah, I'm sure there's still some small packs or some shovelheads that are just skulking around the more ghetto or dingy areas of the city. You can't get rid of all of them. It was more breaking up packs so they didn't have their places of power anymore.
I see. So, what names were made in this? Did say two already.
In the
Caleb.
war?
Yes, are in general names that power during that time.
A lot. There is a lot of effort to take this city back, and most of them aren't around anymore. If you want the ones that still are, you're gonna have basically all the Primogen and the Prince, and he'll rattle the names off to you. I can send them to you if you want, but in particular, he'll say Claudia's name and Prince Regina. He'll name the Venture Gangrel and the rest of the Primogen, which haven't really been brought up in the story yet. Then there's Calibros. He was basically Prince for about 2 years after the war ended. It was a temporary thing to begin with. Basically, the way George Washington said, like, sure, I'll take care of everything, but I don't wanna. So afterwards, he let the rest of them decide what to do, and Regina was put up for the spot, or took it from somebody who else wanted it. I didn't really pay that much attention to the politics. I'd been in Philly since then. I've just been paying attention. Let's see, and he'll like roll his eyes back in his head, trying to think of what other names are still in the city. Some of the bigger players left. They really only showed up to help. And yeah, pretty much everyone who was a bigger player during the war got the prime seat they wanted.
So, how's Philly? Just in general.
Yeah, I left there too. I think there's some of the Sabbat, maybe even from New York, are moving in. I never cared that much for the place, and its Prince got killed not too long ago by some guy. I don't even remember who it was. Maybe it was Sabbat. Either way, I was getting tired of the scene. Moved down the AC, except for coming up here to help Roland.
Oh, okay. I'm just wondering. I kind of like to wonder.
Wasn't there a name dropped in front of Felix? Like, I want to say that Angel dropped it when they were in the sewers. It was some person that was scary. I might be confusing myself here.
I'm just trying to think of who it could
Scary
be.
in what way?
When the Nisi was seen. I may be confusing myself, honestly.
This guy, I mean, like, I can tell you the bigger player names, but I can't recall exactly what Angel would have.
That's okay.
I don't remember doing that.
You might have not.
But like a quick just a quick 2-second rundown. There's Regina's the Prince, Karina the Seneschal, who hasn't been around that much lately. There's the Sheriff, he was only really in one episode. Claudia's the Primogen for Bruja. There's Gangrel, Primogen is Xander. There's Carter the Malkavian, Gerard the Nosferatu, which you got dropped earlier. Eva's the Toreador, I don't know if she's even been mentioned. Lord Ephraim is the Tremere Primogen. And then there's Samuel Haynes the Ventru, and Carolyn, who's the assistant to the Prince. Other than Aisling, there haven't been too many bigger names other than like Thomas Arturo, who's the architect, and a couple other people like that. They're just more influential than actually powerful.
I don't think I've ever brought this up to Benedict, so I'm going to ask this question, but if I did, I might take it. Do you know much about the Lupin?
One sec. I mean, a bit, just from being around. What are you asking?
Specifically Lupin, who might be around the city.
Oh no, you don't want to try and make friends with that group. That doesn't really happen. So no, I don't know any names.
Oh, I didn't necessarily names, but just that they're around. I think I was told Central Park was a real place. so.
Yeah, Central Park's a place to be a bit concerned and careful if you're going through there. Not that you'll necessarily get your throat slit. Not that they believe in the Masquerade as we call it, but they obviously understand the importance of not having humans see exactly what you are, and you don't want that Frankenstein scene of them coming at you with pitchforks and torches. So it's not a great place to be as a vampire kindred, but you're not gonna necessarily get yourself killed just for walking in there. Otherwise, around the city, the only ones I know specifically are some of the more mountainous areas. If they work in the city or have any strongholds, I don't know about them.
I see. I just wasn't sure if there was like a increased sighting or something.
Not that I really heard of, but I've really been only up here and up and down into New York a couple times helping out Roland and getting this information for you.
I see. Thanks. I dealt with them and I don't like dealing with them, so, I guess the city ones are a little less aggressive than the woods ones.
They can be. I've definitely heard of a kindred going missing just from walking a little too close to a dark patch of woods, but it all depends.
Okay. It would help if you kept an ear out for that, though.
Sure. I mean, it's something I'd want to be a bit concerned about myself, I guess. Either way, the way I have to tend to skulk around if I don't have a disguise on.
Right. Well, this was definitely most helpful. I've gotten bits and pieces, but never the whole state.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty more to tell, but that's the meat of it. And I may not even know all the details because I just only paid attention to whatever seemed interesting at the time.
Was there anything interesting at the time?
That might take a little longer, but also depends on what you're looking at. There's some interesting work done between the Setites and the Giovanni. Let's see, I'll try to remember because it was a few years ago. I think the Giovanni made the deals about importing certain products, even sneaking some kindred into the city without the spot knowing. And Setites, they definitely moved some product around, getting people addicted here and there. The Sabat, obviously.
I see. I haven't dealt with their kind as much. Yeah, maybe a Geo too, but that's just because we frequent the same places.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Creepy. People.
Though I imagine you walk in with a book and they walk in with a shovel.
Yes. Yeah. Other things. So I am now imagining that Felix has accidentally walked into an interesting event in the cemetery that he did not want to see. Freaking I am now making this headcanon. It's official. It's
like
only my official. Anyway, yes, thank you for that information. What are the Ravnos doing? I know you said there was a bit of them.
Yeah, pretty much the same in any city. It's whatever their vice is. That's kind of their thing. Each one's a little individual, so maybe one works at the casino, gambling as a profession. One might be a regular cat burglar, whatever. But they keep to themselves as a group, so not much infiltrating to get too much information out of them. Occasionally you can meet one individual that's interesting. You might work with you on something, but other than that, they keep to themselves.
See. Okay. Well, that was most of it. Thank you very much.
Sure thing. Clementine, if you see her, you'll spot her out of the corner of your eyes, just kind of wide-eyed and, paying attention to all this.
that very childish wonder right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to speak with him. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah. He'll wave his
one thing-
big clawed hand and be like, anything else?
No, I think I've taken enough of your time. Thank you very much.
Not a problem. I kind of have a bit of a soft spot for kids.
Oh, yes. I am. I like that he just plays things. Anyway, so he'll head off in out back exit. Actually, no. He'll head to the club if he can.
Yeah, the elevator can go up into the club. It'll be like, it'll be the top floor, actually. It kind of skips the first floor and goes to the top, which is where it's more specialized for Kindred, whereas humans are kind of stayed towards this first floor.
And, I mean, I was just going to kind of, like, eye it to see if I see any individuals, but I was going to want to talk to Thor and something starts with a C. Caleb?
Caleb.
K, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Caleb. I think it says with a K.
It's a C, but no problem.
But I have an interest in talking to him quickly.
Okay, sure, we'll do that. Then we'll do our break and we'll check out the sad scene with everybody else. So, Felix goes walking through the club. I wouldn't say anyone really stands out to you. Maybe a slightly vague face you've seen before if you've been in the club, but no one you know well. And so if you exit out the front door, you'll see Thor and Caleb leaning against the door.
Bonjour.
Both Thor and Caleb will turn to you and just, what's up, man?
Have you seen those ruffians back again? The ones from the first night.
Oh, the opening night? And Thor will look over to Caleb.
The ones
Caleb
who were
will-
quite upset that they were kicked out.
Caleb will shake his head and say, nah, man, fortunately I haven't seen him around. I mean, if I do, they ain't getting in. What, are they friends of yours or something?
I was just catching up. Interested if they try to get back in again.
Yeah, Thor with his arms folded leaning against the club. The club's only open Thursday through Sunday, so we're pretty much here every night. I ain't seen him come by.
Okay. Well, thanks very much. And Felix will head up.
Alright. So that would probably be the rest of Felix's night, I believe. It's getting closer and closer to 4. Where are you staying?
That is a good question.
Kim's place. You can pop by there real quick.
I was actually about to call her. I was thinking, where does Felix know places to stay? Actually, it's Angel's, because he stayed at Angel's once before. So he's actually going to call Angel. Ring. But we could wait for that for whatever events that transpire.
Okay, storyteller clock. When does that happen?
You guys, your whole business finished up a little closer to 5, but, so say all of the nonsense was going on, Angel wouldn't notice his phone going off. So say Felix calls, and then, doesn't get a response. Maybe Felix feels like, if I'm desperate enough, I'll have to go back to the Chantry for now if I can't find anywhere else. But after all the fun stuff, maybe Angel might check, or maybe even want to call Dom real quick. Or not Dom, DeMarcus. You call him Dom, with an A, so that threw me off.
Yeah.
So, would you check your phone before going to bed, or are you just done?
I feel like the storytelling answer is yes.
Play your character.
But I just relived a lot of my PTSD and I'm kind of stressing out.
I'll get him there. Don't worry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I would. I think that we basically finished our discussion and then just kind of went to bed. Well, went to where we were going to sleep for the day, if not necessarily to sleep, because we're all like dreading going to sleep because nightmares.
Right. Actually, I think I know what Felix will do. If he doesn't get a call or response, he's gonna go back into the club and through the back door.
Back down to the basement?
Yes.
Alright. So you go back down the basement.
And is everyone still there?
Yeah, Benedict's actually, he's just sitting where he was, and Clementine's actually already laying down, and O'Connell is sitting on the bed, similar to where she was, but she's like on a small tablet that you would recognize as one of those electronic devices. Benedict's gonna look over, seeing you come out of the elevator, and cock an eyebrow. More questions?
Yes, but it of a different sort. 1,000 apologies, but I know this is technically your place, but can I stay here tonight?
Benedict lets out a real, like, kind of uproarious laugh. Sure, why not? That seems like the home of the riffraff, right? And he looks over at O'Connell. She just rolls her eyes.
Yes, I'm definitely going to be riffraff tonight, but thank you. I'll just go find a corner or something.
Alright. And actually, when Sherrod gets to join us, which will hopefully be in a little while, we'll need to...
Getting on?
He should. And we're gonna still need to wrap up this night for him. So hopefully we'll maybe have to go back anachronistically a little bit for that. But let us take our first break. We'll do our first AMA. If
I'll
none of
take
the...
it.
Yeah, I was gonna say you, and if no one else wants to, because you haven't gotten to play yet tonight, I'll take it, my short one, and then we'll cover everybody else after you guys get to interact some more. So let's start with Articus as Felix. Go ahead and ask him questions about his character or himself as a player. Usual business.
Hello, my little wraith and wraithets. I'm alive, so ask me anything. Wait, maybe I'm not. Whatever. Technicalities. Modi asks, if Felix could have one wish, what would he do with it? If he had one wish, he would probably try to find a way to travel to the spirit realm himself and, well, not die, obviously, but be able to travel there so that he can directly help out the wraiths. He feels that his mortal body sometimes is a hindrance to going further. And he also wants to explore it because they sound really cool and what the hell they're doing out there. Sounds really fun. Anyway, C.S. Graham asks, what does Felix think of Netflix? What does Felix think Netflix is? Netflix. Well, there's a net involved. And there's flicks on these nets. The flick, he has heard of flicks, so that should be a movie. So he thinks they're probably some sort of net of movies. So like possibly like, because they're just saying, watch Netflix all day. So maybe it's a movie itself. Maybe it's like a comedy movie, a Netflix. But they watch it all day, so maybe it's a really good series. He doesn't know. He definitely doesn't think it's some sort of online portal that gives you movies and access, because he honestly has no idea. He's still thinking that everything comes in cassette. StorytellerSpira asks, what does he think he might get out of the places Benny wants him to look into? Oh yeah, I should probably have looked at that, right? That was kind of the smoking gun right there. Well, he was curious to think that Benedict actually thought that vampires created ghosts, or had ghosts. He's not sure if that's something that was just hopeful information, or if he actually knows that, that vampires probably don't make ghost. But I don't know if that's technically a spirit cult. I have no idea if she has vampires living ghosts. Do they?
There, I think, is conflicting information in the books. Honestly, I remember trying to read up on it to make sure, and I feel like I found places that were like, no, and places that were like, well, yeah, why not?
Yeah, I've just from my knowledge, I know when a vampire goes to the spirit realm, their bodies start decaying because they don't technically have a spirit that should reflect there. But that doesn't say that they don't have a spirit, just could be corrupted. I have no idea.
I'm honestly, like, still weighing it out personally as a storyteller, but if I had to give an answer right now, I'd probably say that if they do, they're not gonna be the same as, like a human spirit.
Hey, and that's something kind of interesting and fun to explore, especially if they're werewolf ghosts. If he wants to talk to a werewolf ghost, that would be interesting. Let's see. Keep moving from there, but he has no idea. He thinks he's trying to acquire certain knowledge that no one else could gather because they're dead. So dead knowledge. That's probably a pretty good currency now that he thinks about that. That's an awesome idea. Kosnark asks, if Felix was desperate for money, what would he do to make some cash? So he's been in situations where he needed cash. Not necessarily desperate, because the funny thing is he doesn't really need money to be able to sustain himself. He just needs blood. But for cash, he has worked the odd jobs, especially night jobs where people don't want to work stuff, especially in the more rural locations that they don't open or stay open at night. So he'll do just kind of odd jobs and that kind of thing. Anything from a nighttime farmhand to working at a gas station. He's just kind of done random things, and he always works under the counter, so they always pay him in less, currency, and he's okay. They took her jibs.
I was just about to say, like, it sounds like he's been a scab before.
Yes, definitely. That's why he cares. That's funny. CS Graham asks, what did Felix think of poutine when he was still alive? Poutine when he was alive. Probably loved the hell out of it. Having any kind of cheese, gravy, and fries, that's just like crack to someone who grew up kind of poor, but it's also something that you could definitely get while poor. So I'd say he probably really liked it. Personally, I can't eat it. That's Articus. I can't eat it because I've had a really bad 3 days afterwards of eating it that I couldn't do again. I got sick from it. It wasn't good. Let's see. I think that might be all my questions at the moment.
Yeah, well then I'll take over AMA for a little bit before we get back to the game. We might also be getting a chart on here in a moment, which I'll have to move some things around. We'll see. Let him actually settle down.
I'm ready whenever you are.
Woo! Alright, so go ahead. If anyone has questions for me as storyteller or for any of my NPCs, go ahead and load them up. I'm gonna get some different music for a second, and we'll do Chard's video.
What? I have a video?
No, I need you to
join the
join.
call. Yeah, join the call now. So you can fix the stuff.
Alright. If you want to hop in Skype.
Give me a second. I gotta restart the camera.
No problem.
Wow, Zavani, you're looking different.
Thanks, man. I think I should just talk like this fucking bit for a while. Alright, new character. I get to play Angel now.
I mean, you got the voice down, so.
I mean,
Aw,
if you
that means
drink
I'm
his
kicked out.
blood, you might.
No. I have to share Kim Brown with Char.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, hey, it is a Malkavian. You guys just split her up. It's fine. Nailed it. Perfect.
So welcome back, Shard.
Thanks,
How are you
man.
doing?
I am dirty and tired and ready to play Roland.
You too?
Yeah, man. I'm like still in my clothes. There's like a block party going on outside, so I have like a name tag with my name on it. I went out there for 2 seconds to see how fucking retarded that was gonna be. And yeah, it's just a bunch of old people standing around, just chit chatting.
Yeah, I'm still in the clothes that I was wearing. It's great.
I dress up. I tried. So how's the new house?
Dude, it's so good. It's so nice. One, it's so much quieter. Like when I stream, you don't hear like semi-truck brakes locking up outside and shaking the whole house, you know, and like it's just so quiet. And like right now, I just have this huge view of the lake. So like if I get salty during a video game, I could just like just like deep breath and look out at it. So it's nice. Everything's moved in.
You're on lakefront?
Yeah. Watch.
Hey, Chard, you got the big books. And it's day. Why is it day?
They don't really see it because it's too bright. But yeah, through those trees is the water.
Nice, very nice. Moving up in life.
Woo, that only took a moment. How much fun are you having with Felix and his randomness with strangers? I love it, because it actually, some of it's really getting other characters to talk. I think that's the longest I've talked as Benny since Philly. And I'm getting so used to it that my voice only hurts a tiny bit. I should get some voice lesson practice or something. And there's the dogs. Puck saying hi. Puck, come here. How am I feeling running 2 games in a row? For the first week, hasn't been too bad. I was a little tired today, but, you know, first game, First game, you know, it always takes a little bit extra out of you, but, the music's a bit loud. Yeah, it's these stupid tracks. It's all by the same guy, but like if it's a heavy track like heavy metal, then it's way louder at the same volume than his like quiet ones. They're not equalized very well. So like my cursors for all the tracks I have are, you can probably see in the window here, just like all over the place. Anyway, yeah, how do I feel running 2 games in a row? Not too bad yet. We'll see how it goes, but Hunter is definitely a lot easier to run than VTM, and even Right 4, because it's humans in a mostly human situation, humans reacting like humans instead of ancient undead creatures with centuries and millennia of secrets and overlapping backstabbing. We've got Shard in here.
I'm in here.
He is in here. And I don't have any more questions, so we can get back to it. I actually want to let our other gang get a bit started. And then we'll finish off with Shard, because time-wise, they're all going to bed. And you gotta finish up your night at the club. But they've been waiting patiently for an hour, so let's let them talk a little bit.
Alright, what is your most depressing song you have?
Hold on.
Will you remember me?
Yeah, there you go. I'm pretty sure it's in the arms of an angel.
This might be it. So we'll go with this one. Very sad piano. So, by humanity, I think, like, just Angel, Nate, and Kim would wake up a little earlier than Ike. Not by a ton, but you guys might all find your way back to the conscious world. And Ike, wherever he fell down and passed out for the day, would, be still a little asleep.
Are vampires cognizant of the fact that, like, if someone sleeps in super late, they're probably not super good people?
Kim isn't there. Yes.
As like a
it's-
general rule, do they know that that's the rule? The more less humanity you have, the later you sleep. I mean, the Sabbat clearly know that.
Some vampires you could be just actually exhausted from things that were going on and sleep more into the night. I'm just saying, if anyone was going to be like that snap to awake type person, Ike might. It's not a huge difference, especially by one. The biggest thing would be if someone met a kindred that always woke up like 4 or 5 hours past sunset.
Yeah. Well, because I know specifically the Sabbat train you in how to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. Well, again, it wasn't like specifically a full hour. Just like, they might start to crawl up and then.
No, it's fine. I was just wondering if at all that we were aware of the system there.
I think also, especially between Angel and Kim, maybe not necessarily. Nate might have an inkling toward it, but again, that would be like if you were for humanity and it took you hours to wake up.
Yeah.
So when Nate gets up, he's just going to, not sure exactly where he slept, but make his way to the living room and maybe find a book or something to start occupying himself with before the crew reassembles.
Kim kind of gets up and goes to her room to be like, shit, this is a BC in my room. Right. And
So
check on
we decided
Daniel.
real quick. We decided that the Samishi was in the bathroom, right?
I have a bathroom in my bedroom, yeah.
That's where he is.
Yeah.
Then, to be fair, I'm probably sleeping in the doorway, just in case Nate does something untoward.
Or vice versa.
Then do you
Or
have
vice
a
versa,
main
that's fair.
bathroom?
Huh?
Then you have a main bathroom as well?
Yeah, I have two bedrooms. Yeah, so
Nate would have slept in the main bathroom then. It's a vampire's bathroom. I mean, it's going to be clean.
Yeah.
Ike's on the couch, I guess. The stab couch.
The bloody couch.
Well, sort of like off to the side, trying to get away from the blood, but yeah, he's curled up on the couch.
I do have a love seat too, although
I'm small, I'd probably be in the love seat.
Yeah, he's.
Alright, so Kim probably walks in and is like, alright, so he's still in the bathroom. Okay, hold on, me. And she kind of like goes to her closet and fishes out like a box that was wrapped, and she opens it, and inside she pulls out like a child-sized shirt and pair of pants, and then like comes out and is like, oh, this is okay. She kind of like pokes at Ike. I don't know if that will actually help or not. Like with a pillow.
Yeah, no, like it's more like just it's however they naturally wake up, but it's same like if you're a person with an alarm clock versus someone going like, hey.
I'm gonna say I'm still pretty exhausted, so he'll stir a little bit, but not really get up.
I don't know. Yeah, for me, I feel like the moment I hear Kim start stirring around, I'm probably gonna get up because I wasn't sleeping very well.
Okay.
Evening.
Yeah. Hi. You okay?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean, to be fair, this has happened before, though not necessarily prompted. So I'm good.
I'm so sorry.
You did what needed to be done. Don't apologize for it. You did what needed to be done. It was undesirable and not something you want to do again, but it had to be done.
Okay. I guess I should get everybody in there once they wake up.
I'll say, what are we gonna do with and I'm gonna head gesture over to Daniel. Gonna let him sleep in. He's kind of
Maybe
a
I
witness,
should. Yeah.
more than a participant.
I don't know what he can do. I would say lock him in the bathroom, but or at least the bedroom. There's no windows, so.
I mean, he could close the door if he wants to come out. I don't know. He'd have to walk past us.
It's true. I think we're safe enough with all of this. Let's just leave him in here. It's fine. I'll close the door.
Yeah, well, I'll go. Well, okay, what kind of seating do you have in your
She has like a full-size couch and then like a love seat and then like a smaller armchair. But she also has like.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that because for some reason my volume went from 6 to 60 unexpectedly.
Okay, so she has
Other way
like,
around.
she has a couch and then like a love seat and then also like a armchair. And then the floor.
And Nate will be sitting in the armchair, legs crossed, just reading whatever random books Kim would have in there.
Do you have any
Mostly
stools
medical
in the kitchen?
textbooks. I do actually. I do have 2 bar stools tucked under the.
Then I'd grab one of those and kind of get it to the halfway point between kitchen and living room.
Yeah, I kind of imagine. So if you like go open the door to Kim's apartment, it's like the kitchen is kind of on the right as you go in, like, and then you go through it, and then it's like the living room, and then you hook back around, and there's like to the left, there's a doorway back to the bedroom. And everything like that.
Yeah. So I'm. So to sit at the do you have like an island or a counter? Yeah, it'd be at an island,
Yeah.
I imagine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a
What,
little
sitting-
island
sitting
that
at the
separates
island-
the living room from.
Yeah,
the
sitting at the
kitchen.
island would be basically in the living room, if I sat on the right side, because that's probably what I'm doing, leaning back on it.
Okay.
Man,
She's
it's
got
times
those.
like this that I could use a beer.
Yeah.
It's just not the same anymore. But yes.
Kim just kind of like looks at you like, okay. Are you all right, Nate?
The short answer, well enough. It didn't exactly have the most restful sleep I've ever had in my life. It was a long night, or a long day.
I am so sorry.
What's happened has happened.
Yeah. But,
I guess it. At this point, Eichel like kind of like starts stirring and like stretch a bit and sit upright on the love seat, just
oh, there you are. Okay, here. It might be a little too small. It's for like a 10, 11-year-old, but I do have clothes.
Oh, thanks, Doc. They like sort of like take a second to like get his whereabouts and kind of like set eyes on you three at the island. I think you said.
Yeah, it's an island.
I'm at the island.
The island.
Nate, I'm at the island and Nate is sitting in the armchair, but it's probably a small enough living room that I'm basically in the living room.
I'm just gonna look at you guys. Huh? Who died in here, guys?
I will laugh.
You
Well,
might
all of us.
notice a slight upturn of Nate's lips, and that's about it.
I don't know. I think that's the mystery of the morning.
You know, I already went to my funeral once. Why do I feel like I'm attending it again?
You know, the crowd's a little stiff.
Isn't that right, Doc? He's gonna like stretch off and take the shirt off. Did I lose a blood point for healing the stake?
It takes 3.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, so I lost 4
Very
overnight
odd.
then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's fine. But I would have healed, right? Automatically.
Yeah, over the night it would be fine, but it takes 3 because, you know, you just lost a chunk of your entire chest.
No,
Hey,
no, that's fine.
you know whose house you're lucky that you're in, who lives mostly off of blood bags and definitely has some in her fridge.
But I go kind of like take out, like play with the hole of his shirt and look at the blood and just kind of like peel it off and put the other one on, which is tight, but he's pretty small for his age anyway, so it's okay.
It is too small, but it's not like a crop top or anything.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Doc. Although I think I might have to get a slightly bigger size later.
Sorry, yeah, that's all I had.
He's gonna look at his is it Linkin Park? No, Nirvana. He's gonna look at his Nirvana shirt and be like, I wonder if I can get this fixed.
You don't need to. I can get you a new one. They're not exactly hard to find.
Oh, well, I don't know where to get them.
I mean,
really.
I'm the one who cut a hole in it, so, you know, I guess it's my responsibility to replace it, yeah?
No problem. Thanks, though. I appreciate it. It'll like come join you guys at the island and kind of like sit up there. So
I figure Daniel is all right in there as long as all of us are here, because you had to kind of come through us all to get anywhere. But so this is first of all, I kind of already said this to the other two, but I'm sorry. I hadn't done that before, and I didn't know what would happen.
that's okay. I've had plenty of bad dreams. I'll live.
Second of all, really, really awkward question. I would like to know about the war itself. I know nothing of it, and I think not knowing at this point might get me or any of you killed because of decisions I make.
That's fair. I'll actually look over at Ike and say, side note, I am sorry. Do I get any response from that?
He'll just kind of like smile to himself and be like, no, it's okay. I would have done the same thing.
It won't stop me from doing the same thing again next time. And and like I'll kind of look at Kim and say, like, yeah, you know, he's fine, but I don't regret what I did, because, you know, you like I don't know, you find like a guy who's got like a swastika tattooed on his forehead. It could be the Buddhist good luck symbol, but you're not gonna assume that.
Okay. Guess I just don't understand.
Across the board, La Sombra, they're dangerous. Samishi too. They're conniving. They're sneaky. Like I said, you know, we were a bit heated when I said it last night, but Philly got taken over. Almost got taken over. I guess this La Sombra got killed or something. but they almost got taken over by somebody who had been sitting in town for years maybe, because that's what they do. They're like Ventrue but worse.
That's one of their main tactics, especially employed a lot during the war and just throughout kindred histories.
Yeah, like
the Sombra will just infiltrate and set themselves up as anything, specifically game.
Yeah, like Ike has been nice, but I mean, okay, suppose you had a new position opened up and they needed a kindred for it, and it was like a medical research position. It was the perfect position for you. But the guy and they had like a plan for some dude from San Francisco or some shit to come in and fill the spot. But you were perfect for it. But you didn't like the guy who was doing the hiring. I imagine you could spend like 6 months or so, schmoozing up to the guy to get the job. Like you could put aside your feelings to get the job, right?
Sure.
What if Ike was embraced in like the French Revolution, like 500 years ago or whatever? That 6 months for you is 5 years for somebody who's lived that long. It's nothing. So yeah, if I was right about Ike, he could spend years being nothing but the nicest, kindest dude, and then suddenly turn because there's kindred out there that probably met fucking Jesus.
I could literally, this is in character, raise his hand and just kind of leave it there. Not too out of the way, just waiting for Angel to finish politely.
What's up?
Well, I would agree with him on most points, but there are plenty of nasty Ventrue and Malkavians and every other creed and type out there. Don't let the whole us versus them thing, we have different opinions on things and how stuff should be done, and there are, especially when it comes to the Genesi, nasty, nasty people. And yeah, La Sombra are well known for being pretty fucked up. But at the end of the day, it's a two-sided coin. I don't see the Camarilla being any better. Your politics games, the way you treat newcomers, killing people just because they didn't have permission to sire a child, killing children who had no choice when they were turned. I mean, don't act like we're the only monsters. We're all monsters.
I'll sigh, and I guess.
It's
So what's the
the end of the
difference?
day, Doc, it's a really nasty world. But I'll sooner trust, as Angel said, I'd sooner trust the Ventrue than another La Sombra. And that's just because La Sombra don't tend to stray far from home. It's not something we do, and we're hunted for it.
And that's just talking about the La Sombra. It could be easily debated. The Samishi are even worse. What they're capable of flesh crafting, but they get off on torturing people. They get off on making people suffer while they change them into some corrupted subversion of themselves.
What? Okay. No,
I'm just going to keep a real close eye on Nate as Angel says this. I want to see if Nate reacts at all. Because I know things about Nate.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I do too.
Now.
Well, that's true now. But I've seen him several times, so I'm going to kind of keep a real close beat on him.
You just, I'm warning you. You want to hear about the war. There are some very not pretty things about the war. Weaker people will have nightmares for years about the kind of stuff that I've seen. I know I still do. I promise. The nightmare I had last night wasn't the first, won't be the last. What was that?
Did I? Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
No, like I said, it wasn't the first time. I've had nightmares for years now. It has nothing to do with what you did.
Sure, yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. Is some of the topics of this war, it's nasty. It's stuff that people don't really want to hear. But like, I'll tell you, if I just want to give you that disclaimer.
I want to know.
Well then, we're on the topic of the Tsamishi. You know what a Vozd is?
No.
That's, I guess, and I'll actually point at Nate and say, I guess, he probably knows a little bit more about it, but it's, you take like a couple dozen people, like actual, like just normal humans, ain't done nothing wrong. You ghoul them, and then you squish them together in a monstrosity that's only there for killing.
What?
Clip the nerves, completely rewire its brain so all it feels is just the bestial instinct of hunger and hunting. They can do shit like that. Fuck with your brain directly, fuck with your nerves, deaden all of them, so it can't feel pain. Or maybe, instead of pain, it feels pleasure, literally getting off on being in the middle of combat fighting. Increasing the flesh, grafting bones and muscle and sinew everywhere, making a literal monster. Think of what they can come up with, just all sorts of things. And then when it gets to the torture, don't let yourself be taken by a Tsamisi, because you don't understand pain until you've been met a Tsamisi before. Completely flay your flesh and keep you alive, but turn your nerve endings up to 12, so you feel every slightest little thing is the most excruciating, burning, agonizing pain searing through your body with a touch. This is the shit they can do. Rework you into a fucking chair and use you as furniture. Alive, you're kindred, you don't need to breathe, you don't need a heartbeat. And they can twist your body and use you for whatever sick, fucking foul purpose they want. This is the reason that we've distanced ourselves from the likes of the Sabbat. They embrace this. In fact, the Tsamisi literally worship who can come up with the most fucked up, foul, disgusting way to achieve their ends. It is literally a sign of praise and ability, prowess and vicissitude in order to achieve these tasks.
Now we're talking the more radical among them, but they're not all that way. They're bad. I agree, but not everyone is running around looking to turn people into chairs.
That's why I take Daniel the first time. That's why I stayed dyke until I knew what was going on.
Well, I'm not a Shumisi.
Yeah, but I've seen child soldiers from those Sombra, and as terrifying as Vozd are, they're nothing. That's not what I picture when I fall asleep.
Do tell. Doctor would like to know, I'm sure.
And he's gonna, like, I know he doesn't technically have to breathe, but he's gonna be like a little bit fluttery of breath. I've had to kill children because that's what the Sombra did. And the Tsamishi, they embraced kids to prey on the insecurities of normal, decent fucking human beings. I saw, I spent most of my time in the war. I did car work. I fixed cars. I made IEDs. I armored things. But a couple times I got in some fights and they were nasty. I had, and when a group of kids, like the little Boy Scout is coming at you, fangs bared, it's the people who hesitate, the people who don't do it, they're the ones who don't make it to the next day.
Those are just the shovelheads. They get much, much worse. The kids, at least, they're not walking nightmares. They're not our best.
Dominated into doing a job, to killing, because it's what the Sombra and the Tsamishi want.
We want different things, but yeah, we wanted to win the war.
Yeah. Were you in
well,
the war?
The city that you, the Camarilla, decided to take from us. A little known fact, the Camarilla are the winners. They've taken most major cities, most of the continents. The Camarilla own most of the places. And what happens when you have nowhere to feed? What happens when all you have is a pasture in Ireland with 12 people living in it? What do you do? How do you live? How do you get by? Food, people are food. And the Camarilla own all the cities. So as you can imagine, the Sabbat are quite keen on keeping cities. New York is a very big city. It can hold a lot of vampires pretty safely. But they pushed us everywhere except the furthest north reaches in Canada and down Latin America, Brazil. It's about the only areas. We're not widespread. We're not all over the globe like the Camarilla are. We don't own every city and manipulate most of the world. And no, not every Sabbat treats it that way. And there are many lackeys and shovelheads and nasty vampires, just like I'm sure there are in the Camarilla. But there is propaganda here, make no mistake. It was a nasty war, but it was a war for a reason.
Were you in it?
Me? No, I'm older than that.
What? No. Okay.
No, I'm not a... Me and my sire did different things. I would be more of a... I'd probably be more on the scholarly side of what's considered. I was not... Most of the child vampires returned for... Especially the shovelheads during the war. The reason they do that is La Sombra do not take child lightly. We kill most of them. They don't make the cut. If you're judged to come up short, you're done. That's why I had to run when my sire disappeared. Even though I'm as old as I am, it's still not enough. You can't... So they don't have many. There's not as many La Sombras as you might think. We're pretty rare. And during war times, when you need a big boost in numbers, that's just what they have to do. And yeah, the child thing's a nasty trick, making them kids, but a lot of them are shovelheads, and if they come back alive, we just kill them when they get back anyway. They're not, as we would say, worth it. They're not worth the blood they carry. They're not worth
it?
No, they're less. The Samba are supposed to be Adonis-like, perfect, poised, attractive, intelligent, strong, fast. We don't take underachievers. So it takes years to become anything. You know, you're not very old yourself, and you're allowed to move around and talk to people as if you were a full member of society. We're not. You can be 25 years old and you're still nothing but a sickly child who at a moment's notice can be offed. It's tough, but you know, but I wasn't in the war. I wasn't turned for that reason. I was chosen, actually, to become La Sombra.
I see.
The more you talk about them, you keep making your point. They're not so different. They sound very appealing.
Incidentally,
You call Thin Bloods too.
What?
Thin Bloods, vampires who are too weak, who have had too far down the lineage, that don't have as much power, strength, aren't good at using their innate abilities. The Camarilla don't keep them around either.
What, is that true? She says, and she looks to Nate and Angel.
I don't know. I've never experienced that. I don't plan on embracing.
It's never come up.
We study a lot, or I did. I studied a lot with my sire, and I knew a lot because we have to know how to blend in, obviously. As Angel said, we're good at that. Pretend to be a Ventrue, be a part of Camarilla society. It's not too difficult. But yeah, there are older, it seems to not be in vogue anymore, but there are older vampires who don't abide by people going a little too far down, having too many children. They get weak, they get strange, and get half and half. And they kill them for it. So, yeah, we're picky, but those are the rules where I come from. It's not seen as some monstrosity, it's just, Spartan. Only the strong get to live.
Indeed, only the strong get to live. It's a wonderful, wonderful mentality.
At least we're not enslaved to our rank in the overall position of things.
Incidentally, Nate, I think Daniel might be a shovelhead. That's why we're not too worried about him. Samishiing up the place.
What is a shovelhead?
Quite literally, what it sounds like. They take a regular person, bash him over the head until he's mentally deficit, and then embrace him as cannon fodder.
Send waves of them to the enemy.
That is a supremely Sabat mindset.
What?
Let's not pretend that the Camarilla haven't taken part in ass embraces.
Like you
Maybe
said,
not as cruel, but
We don't retard him first.
it's a fair point. Again,
Like
they're not good enough to be real Lysandra.
like you said, the Sabat are fewer in numbers than the Camarilla, and when you're lacking in
Sounds
numbers...
like they kill all their children. That would be why.
Well, to be fair, you will die too if you produce too many lacking children. That's a deficit on your part. So it's frowned upon in both directions. Having a child who doesn't stand up and siring a child who doesn't stand up. We are chosen very carefully. And failure to do so, you'll find yourself quickly laying next to them in the dirt.
And what about you?
Who was that towards?
Oh, sorry, Ike.
What about me?
What happened with you?
I wasn't supposed to be turned at my age, but it happened. My sire treated me like a normal Lysandra treats their prospective child, but things went a little south, so he had to advance his plans and turn me a little earlier than he had expected to.
He was watching you?
And Angel will actually laugh at that a little, like a dark laugh.
Yeah, we're all watched before we're turned. Like a cat with a mouse. We're toyed with and watched and tested.
Oh, guys, that's true. Fuck.
I mean, it makes sense if they're so strict about exactly their army of Adonises. You think they would be careful about those that they select.
Oh, they're careful. They're careful in the cruelest possible way. What Jamissi do to people is terrible. What the Sombra do to their children is even worse. Be personal, and he's gonna look over at Nate, not trying to be offensive on that one. It's they're like a puppet, and they ruin your life. Piece by piece, they push your life worse and worse. Sometimes they'll cripple their child. They'll make them lose the ability to walk. They'll kill off their parents. But it's never so simple as just your parents die and you break your legs. It's your father falls into alcoholism because he was dominated, loses his job, starts beating your mother, cheats on your mother with another woman. They get a divorce. Then they go bankrupt. Then you lose your home. And your mother's, let's just say, raped to death in front of you. And then you get into a terrible car accident. And in that last moment, they finally think there's nothing more you could possibly take. That is the moment you're tested. If, for a moment, you give in, you're not good enough. They simply allow you to kill yourself. But if you keep fighting, and you keep fighting against all odds after your life is laid into ruin, they come with you a proposition. There's a solution. There's revenge. There's a way to get back. There's power. There's power that you can exercise upon the world for all of its injustice it's done to you. But they don't admit they did it to you. Not until after the kiss. Some of them admit it. Some don't. Like we said, only the strong.
And some of us specifically disapprove of those specific matters. No offense, but it's disgusting.
It's terrible. I had heard rumors of that shit, but I knew it was true, but I couldn't believe that it was true.
Oh, it's permitted in the Camarilla too. For the Lasombra specifically. From what I've heard is those who turn, many of them keep up the old ways. It's that ingrained. It definitely doesn't fail to produce extraordinary kind.
I can't I can't wrap my head around the people, the kindred that they pretend like humans that aren't people.
We're not humans. Humans are our food.
But they're still people.
Yeah, and dogs are still dogs, and cows are still cows. And then they go into the meat grinder and become a sandwich.
I'll get up and kind of pace a little bit at that.
Spoken like the finest of Lucy.
Spoken like the truth. The humans, they don't understand infinite life or near infinite life. They don't understand these things. We are different. That's the key. I don't condone it, just so you know, Nate. I don't appreciate or like or even enjoy being allied, or that my clan was allied with the Genasi. I think they're dirty, nasty lowlifes. Who tortures dogs? What the hell is wrong with these people? But make no mistake, we are very different from humans. Humans don't struggle with what we struggle with. Even if you're good, you still...
And we don't struggle with what humans struggle with. It doesn't mean we don't both share struggle.
Exactly.
That's true.
The difference between us and dogs, I've never spent a day walking as a dog. I've never walked in their paws before, but I was human. Spent nigh on a century as a human. You'd think I would understand what exactly it means.
They still have hopes. They still have dreams. They have plans for the future. And yeah, they don't live as long as we do, but that means that every second of the time is more precious than ours.
Valuing their lives is a weakness, and disregarding them is a strength.
I don't see the Camarilla doing anything altruistic for the worlds and cities they inhabit. So, you're right. But I don't feel a need to defend myself. Monsters versus monsters is what we are. And that's okay. I'm okay with that. I don't kill, generally. Like I said, it can be a difference of opinion, but titanic forces, you know, how can Titan understand the ant? It's not... The older you get, the harder it gets. Have you seen elders? You've seen Lily.
I suppose I don't exactly trust her.
Fucked up.
They get worse with age. Lily's actually very well put together, but they get... Nate, have you seen Elder Jemisi? Human wouldn't be a word I would use, ever.
Thing. And that's not even trying to be meant as an insult. It's literally the only word I have for them. Things. They're alien.
And so, if you survive long enough, that's your fate. You become the monster. There are good ones out there, but make no mistake, they are far from human. There are plenty out there who are actually not terrible, so I've heard or read in the books. But they're not. They're very far, and whatever we are, the longer we go, the closer we slip into it, the further away humanity seems to be from you, the more different you are. So, you're faced with a choice. Either you go towards that, or you stop now. Stop being what you are, and stop while you still have humanity.
Yeah, so we're different. It doesn't make us better than them.
No.
We wouldn't exist if it weren't for them.
It is parasitic, isn't it?
Exactly. Like, we need them. Not only do we need them to live, but we need to have had their experiences. I wouldn't be me as a kindred if I wasn't me as a human first.
But will you be you later as a kindred if you weren't you as a human first? I don't know. I'm just saying there's an argument that can be made that we are all monsters, just to what degree. And you find the eldest of the Camarilla.
Anyone is capable of being a monster doesn't mean anyone should be, or should give into it just because they have that capability.
When you were human, when we were all human, I was just as easy. Humans are fragile, let's be honest. When I was mortal, I was just as capable of taking life. I had similar levels of anger and desires, but I still never murdered. And it's a numbers game. Being kindred, you have many more years to slip up, make a mistake, but there's just because it's there, just because we do hunger, just because we can become monsters doesn't mean we should embrace it. It's not something to be cherished. It might be inevitable. It might be the fate that we're all eventually going to suffer if we live long enough. But I can spend eternity as a monster, but I would like to hold on to what remains of my humanity for as long as I can. Cherish these moments. I won't be Nate Ward for the rest of my life, or the rest of my own life. I'll become something else. And so I guess we are all final still in some way, but there's no rush. There's no reason to embrace it. There's no reason to purposely kill and strive to change ourselves into these monsters.
I agree. Many agree. Most of the Savant. Well, there are many. There are many who would agree. Not as many as disagree, but...
And that is fair. The Savant's philosophies are varied. From my, I assume, much more limited understanding.
What did you do in the war, Nate?
I fought some. I was an informant.
She looks interested.
Sold what I could, what knowledge I had of the Savant, who, where, what I knew. I sold it to the Camarilla.
I see.
Started the war on the other side.
Wait, but but your Bruja.
And Claudia is my sire.
At that, like when she says "but you're Bruja," I'm gonna like chuckle a little bit, and then when you say "and Claudia is my sire," I'm actually gonna like look at you with confusion.
A special Bruja, though.
One with a century as a ghoul under Esmisi. One specifically. I don't know if you understand the word, but I was born a revenant.
What is that?
That's actually that's the word that escapes me.
So let's bring it back and put this into Sabbat terms. Humans are dogs, right? Scattering of mutts running all throughout the streets, things to be fun. Now, people like their truebreds, their pit bulls and their bulldogs and whatever, things that are bred over time to facilitate certain traits. If you take two ghouls and they marry, or they breed, and then you ghoul their children and have their children breed over and over through, I assume, centuries, you get what's a revenant.
Like pure red dogs.
Ghouls. What? Genetic ghouls.
This is going to be the first time during this conversation that Angel will actually have a little bit of a disgusted face.
That's you?
So he might defend the Zamisi all he wants, but he wasn't raised by one. He didn't live with one for a century.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Nate.
I acknowledge my privileged position. As I said, I'm not defending them entirely. I'm just adding context. Please do not mistake me for defending what the majority of the Sabbat does. I'm not even a part of the faith, Nate.
I'm sorry. It's hard not to get defensive about the subject. Yes, you're right.
I understand. It's okay.
So, as a revenant, I served the Sabbat. They completely disgusted them. I hated everything about them. I guess I had the wool pulled from my eyes very young, watching siblings of mine disappear. Do you know what it's like to see somebody, a stranger, look at you with your own sister's eyes? That's something I won't forget. And it just... So yes, the war happened, and I'm thankful for the war. It gave me the chance I needed to escape from the Sabbat, to seek out their enemy and sell whatever I can. I don't care about the Camarilla. I didn't care. I didn't care what I was giving them. All I knew is that it would hurt the Sabbat. And that was enough for me.
I think that'll be a good spot. Take a little break. Let everyone take a breather. Fantastic job, everybody. Let's take a little break. Do another AMA. Who wants to? We can do 2 or 3 people. Angel and Ike. All right, and Nate. Oh, it seems like she needs a moment, so you can go later with Roland, I guess. Oh no, dropped a can.
Oh, this happened.
Oh, give me a second.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so let's start off with Koznark as Ike. Go ahead and ask Koznark as a player questions about himself, or ask him questions about Ike.
How you doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
I might.
This is a lore-rich episode.
Yeah, this is the backstory episode.
Pretty much. This is
Okay,
like the
at
filler.
least it's like if no one has ever heard any of this lore before, they'll know it now because guess who also doesn't know any of it? It's Kit.
Samani, do you have your escape mic up?
No.
Sounds good.
I'm doing good, CS Graham. How are you doing tonight? Ike doesn't use products? I'll tell you, so what does Ike think of his new friend's moral standings? The thing is like, he's in this really odd part of like, he is going to be defending. I don't know if I'd call it defending the Sabbat, because clearly everything you guys mentioned, he's like, yeah, no, that's terrible. But that's obviously the propaganda, the worst of the worst. That's not everyday life in the Sabbat, and that's certainly not the goals of everybody. And there are philosophical differences, he just thinks to add context. Like he said, he wants to add context to a situation. Whatever you believe at the end of the day, he's fine with. He's found his greater calling in his path. He doesn't care. But he doesn't like propaganda. And some of the stuff is starting to sound like, Camarilla propaganda. Some of it, most of it's true, it's cherry-picked. How is he feeling about Nate's guts all over the floor? That's a new move. He hasn't seen a Jamissi do that one before.
It's easy. You've never seen a Zamisi hang somebody with their own, I guess the Zamisi's guts? Just so you have a trail?
He's seen that, but not like a self-defensive sort of like, and pop. So like a confetti balloon, like, bam, there you go, kids. That's new to him, so he's like, okay. I didn't know they could do that. He's never seen a Jabisi have a nightmare. He was like, I thought they were their own nightmares. He didn't really think that was possible. I mean, you're not technically a Jabisi, but...
I was about to say, again!
Excuse you, he's a Bruja.
Yeah, he's never seen a flesh-crafting nightmare.
Yeah, though you also have now seen a Samishi having a nightmare. Daniel, even though you probably...
Yeah. That's true. That's true. We've all had kind of bad night. What's everyday life in the Sabbat for Ike? Meetings, meeting people, meeting more people, studying books. Life as a child for Ike was very much children should be seen and not heard. It was just kind of coming around to getting a little bit of responsibility and freedom when father disappeared. So he didn't get much of the day-to-day, although the big prominent thing that separated him pretty distinctly and made him pretty widely hated among the Sabbat is he was not a part of the faith. So unlike the mandatory taking part of the primary religion there, which is some fucked up version of Christianity, he was never a part of it. He learned about it, but he was never kind of rolled up into it. Father specifically protected him from that. They lived in Canada, I think Ontario. So he lived up there with the Northern Sabbat in the Canada lands.
Alright, well, if you've got more questions for Kozarkanite, definitely put them in, but also get them loaded up for Modi Enzas as Nate Ward. We'll do him next. Our poor Bruja Jmissi. Brujmishi? Jimuha?
I like Jamuha.
Shimuha.
Jamuha.
There's one more question for you, Koznak.
Yeah?
I don't see any. It must have gone under the radar.
Sismani asks, why you gotta be a snowflake?
Because he's an ST normally. We have
Actually,
trouble
funny
making
story,
clear.
It started as a joke of me trying to troll Spira, and she's like, you can actually play somebody with vicissitude if you want. I was like, fuck! Alright, now I need to think up a reason to have it.
But us storytellers have a bit of a hard time when we get a chance to make PCs. We want to do all 5 things at once.
I have this one chance. I'm gonna do all the things.
I mean, Angel's fairly snowflakey. Not in like mechanics, but he doesn't really fit his own plan. I like snowflakes too, is what I'm saying.
Hopeless.
Ike's totally a snowflake.
Hopeless. What products does Nate use? He has this beautiful hair care product called Vicissitude. His hair always does what he wants it to. It's beautiful. I would highly recommend it. It just has a slight downside of being addictive, but don't worry about it. Spirit asks, what are your thoughts on the next move with Danny? Staking him still sounds like a really, really good action. I know Kim promised not to, but Nate certainly did.
He's in my house. Outside, whatever.
Yeah,
In
we'll
my
take
house,
him out.
no.
I will take him out of the house and stake him and drag him to Sister Dearest and Claudia. We'll handle it.
What is she gonna do with him? I've already got a so tight cool. What do you want? This isn't daycare.
Well, you know, I miss having a family. And
Give Claudia a poor aneurysm.
just start randomly flesh crafting them to look like celebrities.
Look, I found wandering down the street. Johnny Depp. Ah.
Just slightly off so you can be like, no, it's an impersonator. It's fine.
Ooh yeah, in the money. And dog votes, that is a travesty. No, you do not do that to puppies or kittens. How does Nate feel about defending and explaining? The emotional side of him wants to attack you and be incredibly upset with you because it's painful things to hear, but again, you keep saying, I'm not defending them, I'm adding context. And from his own experiences with the Camarilla and seeing how diverse it is, he knows you're right. And emotionally is getting upset. I mean, also being a Bruja doesn't help, but it's that emotionally it is very upset with you for saying it, but logically it's just, yep. Graham asks, so if Nate was initially don't care about Camarilla, just want to fuck over Sabat, how does he feel about Claudia now? No, he's completely loyal to Claudia and the Bruja. Like, he likes what the Bruja are doing in the area. He likes Claudia, and that's why he enjoys being in the Bruja. There's a lot less of the, say, Ventrue bullshit, or the quote-unquote Ventrue bullshit. Nate, like, honestly isn't a super fan of the Camarilla, and sticks around with them mainly because Claudia does. Not that he particularly... I mean, he likes some interest in the Anarchs, but he doesn't feel any compelling reason to avoid them. It's not like a vampire is that like a huge, wide-ranging things of possibilities that Anarchs, Cam, or Sabat, and definitely not Sabat. Cam works.
Alright, if anyone has any more questions for Modi, load them up, but let us finish off with Zabani as Angel. Go ahead and ask our questions of our lovely Toreador.
No. Zvani, who you gonna stab? Well, I've stabbed Ike. I've stabbed Samushi, so now I guess the people that need to be stabbed, I haven't stabbed any Setites. I don't know that I want to stab them, but I want to stab them. Just let me know that I want to stab them and I got you. Agnes was not really involved in the war. Like, she was in a tangential sort of way. She was definitely, like, she might have been involved in tactics, but she embraced Angel more using the war as an excuse than using the war, or than actually for the war, but she didn't involve, she's an old lady. She definitely bankrolled a lot of it, though, because she has lots and lots of money. Like, Angel has less money than Agnes does, because she invented because her husband in the Civil War invented a medical procedure or technology that's still used to some point. Alright, so is Angel feeling a lot better about the whole sterilizing his goals at the moment? Oh my god, yes. Oh my god. He, he was this close to saying, my goals ain't never having kids. Like, that was the one thing that made him feel better, is that would never happen to his ghouls. Angel is handling all of this well. It's rough. He's super in denial about Ike saying that the Camarilla is the same as the Sabbat, to a lesser extent, because he definitely drank the Camarilla Kool-Aid. Like, when he was embraced, he was in a very, very shitty time. Like he would have failed the Lasombra embrace, because he was about to kill himself and Agnes saved him. Because it was just a series of shit. Articus asks if I want to stab a lupine. I don't actually know if I want to stab a lupine, because there's a lupine that I'm trying to find, but I'm not sure if this lupine is correct or if the prince is correct, because one of them is up to something shady, and I want to decide who is up to something shady before I decide who to get stabbing. What products does Angel use? If we're talking about hair care products, he probably uses scalp oil, because you gotta keep that the bald head nice and smooth and moist.
Chrome
Huh?
Chrome dome.
Yeah. Other than that, he uses lots of wrenches, pneumatic actuating drills, variety of mechanical products. Not for his hair, just I stabbed the lupine with my car. I still want to put silver spikes on the front of one of my cars.
I've decided officially that Angel's one ghoul, Tanya, is going to call him Chrome Dome as a nickname.
Yeah, I want to take the gay fashion sense. What are you talking about? Angel has no sense of fashion. He wears the same uniform basically every day. He finally has a nice suit, and it only looks nice on him because a fashion toreador fitted it to him. He doesn't like the way that it fits. It's a little bit tight and uncomfortable and feels like a monkey suit.
Alright, well, it looks like that might be the last of the questions. So we'll get back into the game, and we'll get Shard in here. Our lovely Roland.
Oh, hey.
What's up, guys?
Nice of you to show up.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I missed you.
The club music.
This is the Black House music, but it's fitting for right now. Yes, to Elvish. But anyway, so Roland, you had gotten back to Claudia's apartment with Byron and Mark and Nate, with the Setite ghoul Warren in tow, but you got a phone call from Lucille, who works at your club, saying that there was a bit of an emergency and she couldn't really talk about it much over the phone. It would be better if you could just come by as soon as possible, and you decided to heed her advice and take a trip to your club.
Yeah.
Alright, so arriving at your club, you see Thor and Caleb, your bouncers, outside. They just nod to you. Otherwise, the club seems pretty quiet. Once you enter, however, Lucille will have been waiting by the bar, trying to keep an eye out for you.
I'll walk up to her. And what was so urgent that I had to show back up?
Hey, Roland. Yeah, so, like, there's this, guy and a woman upstairs said that he really needs to talk to you about some deal and made it pretty clear that I wasn't supposed to say too much more, but he's been waiting for you for a little while.
I'll kind of look at her. What did he look like?
He ain't bad on the eyes. Red hair, dressed nice. Had some interesting eyes for a second there.
Do I know anyone like that?
Mm-hmm, yes, you do.
Okay, I'll go upstairs. And who do I see when I open up the door?
You see a certain red-headed snake sitting there on one of your couches with a couple, like, humans already pawing on him, like, hands on his shoulders.
I forgot Dom was a ginger. I was like,
Yeah.
Who do I know the redhead? Okay, cool.
So there's a couple, and it looks like more like ghouls or blood dolls, kind of like pawing at like his shoulders and everything. But there's also a woman quietly sitting next to him. I got a picture. Wait, nope, not him.
Nice woman.
Oh wait, I have to reload the page. That's why. So it's an attractive woman, maybe mid to late 30s, but not too old, thin form. She's wearing, like a somewhat see-through top, but with a nice blazer. She's got her hair back, dark hair, dark slumberous eyes, and she just watches you, but doesn't say anything yet. So if you walk up, Dominic will give you his large, wry smile. Roland, it's good to see you.
Yes, I'm hoping you are all enjoying yourselves.
Yes, of course. Let me introduce you to my friend here. And she will, at that point, actually stand up and reach a hand out to you. Helena.
Roland, he'll give her a nice business handshake. Firm.
Her grip is pretty firm, but she has a very, dainty, soft hand. And she gives you a pretty genuine smile, sits back down with Dominic. And Dominic will do a hand wave to all the seats that are otherwise adjacent to where they're sitting. If you'd have a seat, we can get down to business. I don't want to take up too much more of your time.
Roland gives out a sigh and unbuttons his suit coat and sits down. Yes, what is so urgent?
Well, we already have plans to meet later about some women for your club. I haven't forgotten, obviously. I believe we were going to meet in another night or two. But I have something I need to get moving sooner than later. And I think both your club and Helena here, with her business, might be the perfect opportunity.
Go on.
So Helena actually speaks over Dominic, smiling. Have you ever heard of the Succubus Club?
I'm assuming not. Like, even in my research of kind of clubs around?
No, it's not in the city, for sure. You definitely don't recognize it as any of the clubs you've heard of in the city, and probably wouldn't recognize it otherwise.
No.
She continues smiling. Well, it used to be a pretty influential, rather famous club for kindred back out in Chicago, long time ago, good 15, 20 years, but it had closed its doors for a time, and I took control of essentially what was left of what was left of the club. The patrons, people who knew its name, its reputation, all that sort of thing. And what we've decided a few years ago was to essentially make it a traveling affair. Instead of sitting in one lone spot where you only see the same faces every weekend, why not make it almost like a traveling circus of fun? And Dominic here told me you had a new club that caters both to our kind and others, humans of course, and we were very interested in speaking to you about having an event. And Dominic can tell you more about what product of his he wants to highlight.
Besides renting you space, what do you need from my end?
Well, for me, Dominic says, I'm not actually too concerned about the club. That's all Helena's part. She can talk to you more about it. What I want is to start moving this product. It's blood, but it's a special kind of blood.
Special in what way? Did you put some kind of drug in it?
Dominic starts laughing and leans a bit closer to you. No, it's not human and it's not kindred either. It's something else entirely, and it's entirely fantastic.
Roland kind of raised an eyebrow. That, do you have any here?
Actually, I do have a little sample if you're interested, just so you know what you'll be pushing. Same as having the bartender try out the cocktail before he tells everyone how good it is.
Yes, if I could have that, I'm sure I can find some time to enjoy it.
He leans over and he's got a little suitcase that he opens, and you even see like a little bit of steam come out, that there's obviously some coolers inside it, or like packs of coolers at least. And he just turns it slightly towards you. You can see one or two actually it's two small bags, not even a full normal size like blood bag from a hospital. They actually look smaller, like they've been packaged in this size. And he closes it up and puts it back down on the floor. Let me explain a little something about this. It is more potent even than kindred blood. However, because it is so, it can sometimes get people a little more riled up. It's something you want to be careful of how many people have it, how much they have. Take trying to give out, say, meth at a club. It's a bit dangerous if not taken care of, but you'll certainly get the party going, and your customers will want as much as you can provide them going forward.
So on one end, you want me to push it, but on the other end, you want me to not push it too hard.
Yes. Make it a rare commodity. But you can understand from your experience in the business that only keeps them coming back more and more.
Who else has it?
No one else.
Roland kind of, really raises an I would be the sole provider.
Exactly. We may have others. We may have other proprietors in the future, but I want to keep this in a single location for now.
I agree that if we can just control the whole market in one space, then we can charge as much as we want, so there's no competition and everyone is happy.
Exactly.
When would we do this circus of fun, as you call it?
Helena speaks up. Well, we're quite used to setting up the tent, to continue with the metaphor. So whatever would be a good time for you. This is, perhaps this weekend's a little too soon, but the next you would have some time to advertise to your own kindred friend, associates, definitely drum up the right number of blood dolls, ghouls, and humans that won't be maybe too scared of a wild party, but, the Succubus Club can get a little out of hand. No broken furniture, as far as I've ever been in control, but it is something to behold.
Roland kind of just like stares forward, not even looking at anyone, just kind of thinks for a second. Yes. Give me what's today in the game?
I think at this point it is actually like Friday night, so that's why she said, like, you know, obviously not this weekend because your club's already, like, it's already been going. Give us another week.
Right. Yeah. Next weekend should be fine. I should be able to do enough advertising and round up the numbers to make this work. How much product do I have to work with?
Dom does a little, like, math in his head and thinks, I think at the moment I have at least about 160? I don't know if I'd really even need more than that for a single night, but I'll definitely have you more later.
Okay. Yes, I can do something with that. I mean, it's as good as you say it is. We could definitely make some money with it.
He kind of scoots the suitcase closer to you with his foot. Find out for yourself.
Later, I don't want to be. Yes. Is there anything else?
Dom's gonna stand up as if he was, like, already gonna leave. Like, as you were saying the sentence, he stands up and straightens his shirt. Not for me. Helena, do you want to speak with him more? Or just meet with him later. She'll stand up as well and look to you for more of an answer about that.
If you want to look around, and, I don't know how you set this up, but feel free. The whole place is yours. And if you need an arm to escort you around for the week, just let me know, and I'm sure I could show you around the city.
Well, it is getting quite late into the evening. I can already feel the sun bristling my shoulders, and I've had a bit of a look around personally tonight, but how about I come round tomorrow or the next day, whenever you're next available, and we can discuss some more finer details about our little circus club.
Roland will reach into his shirt pocket and pull out a card and hand it to her. Yes, tomorrow it should be fine. Just give me a text and we can arrange a time.
She'll slip it away as if you can't even tell where she put it.
Oh. And Roland will stand up. And if that is all, I must be going.
Of course. And she'll hook her arm around Dom's and they'll both walk out.
Roland will go downstairs, check up on Clementine.
Alright, at this time, you go down to your basement apartment. You'll find Clementine's pretty much like half asleep at least. Like, she seems like she's dozing on the bed, even though it's still a little early. O'Connell's sitting on the bed on her tablet. Benedict is sitting at a desk nearby, just, you know, sort of staring off a little bit, but Felix is also there, sitting at another chair nearby.
Fucking Felix is there?
I told you had a guest.
Nice. Yeah, Roland will walk into the room with the cooler. Felix. So what are you doing here?
Oh, bonjour.
Bonjour, monsieur. Comment allez-vous?
It's okay.
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Is there something I can help you out with?
I was just finding a cot for the night. Morning.
What did you say? Finding a what?
Finding a cot for the night, and then he corrected himself and said morning.
Benedict will speak up and say, "Yeah, I figure there's enough riffraff around here. What's worse with one more?"
Yeah, sure. I
hope they didn't mind the ghost.
What ghost? Is that... Did you haunt my building?
No, I anti-haunted your building.
There was a... okay. Thank you. I just ran into Dom upstairs, and he... Roland will look at Sunshine and Benedict. Did you guys know he was here?
O'Connell's eyebrows will kind of shoot up, and Benedict will just give a short and then shake his head. No, didn't know. Didn't go in the club this evening.
What's a Dom?
An asshole. It's another way of saying asshole.
I guess that American lingo skips.
The uninteresting part is that he wants to use the club to run something called the Succubus Club, if you guys have heard of that.
Benedict and O'Connell will laugh a little bit. So that's coming around, huh?
Yes. But the interesting part is that he has a new product that he says is stronger than kindred blood. And he gave us samples.
Benedict's gonna, furrow his eyebrows. What did he say it was?
He didn't actually say, right?
Nope.
No. He didn't say. Roland will place the cooler down on the ground and, kick it over to, slide push, over in Benedict's direction.
Benedict's gonna grab the suitcase and pick it up, click it open, and again, there's gonna be a little bit of a cool steam that comes out from the ice packs that are in there. And he notices that there are these, 2 non-standard size blood bags in there. He's gonna pick them up and move them around, almost like if you're, swirling a glass of wine to look at the color. He's gonna hold it up in the light and kind of try and examine it. And what's up, Articus?
Felix will be incredibly interested in kind of shimmy over.
Okay.
Non-intrusively, but intrusively.
So after kind of examining it in the light, he's gonna just toss it slightly like a beanbag, feeling the weight of it, and he's gonna look back at Roland. You said it's stronger than kindred blood, right? Because this looks human.
He said stronger than kindred blood, and that it would rile up the crowd. That I don't know. I asked him if it had drugs in it. He said no, just blood from something that's stronger than human and kindred. Have you ever heard of something like this?
Heard of something like that? What's up, Articus?
Oh, it's just...
Yeah.
Sorry. That's a pretty big bag. Is there any way I can actually identify the blood? If it is, I have no idea if I can.
No, it does kind of looks-wise, because kindred blood is darker and thicker, kind of. So that's why he was examining it. And he's like, "This looks like human blood."
But I did see a sample of lupin blood.
Mm-hmm. It looks like human blood.
Gotcha. And he said it rises up the crowds, and it's a giant bag.
It's a small bag. It's okay.
Oh,
So
I thought it was a giant bag.
No. So, like, you know what a normal blood bag looks like from a hospital?
It's a pipe.
It's like a quarter of that. It's a dime bag.
No, I knew what you were doing there.
So it's half a cup. Gotcha.
Roland will walk over to Clementine and kind of like pinch in the covers around her and tuck her in. Where is Deckard when you need him? But one of us might need to be the guinea pig here.
I wouldn't suggest it right now.
Roland will kind of look. And why is that?
Let's just say there's been some black market blood. And that might be it. From the characteristics I've just heard.
From whom?
Let's just say that Kim would be able to identify this.
Okay.
Unless
Roland
you're
will.
comfortable with me just saying things aloud.
What? You keep on saying, let's say this. How about you just say everything you know, and then we'll go from there.
It might be lupine, but...
Oh, and he'll kind of give a look over to Benedict.
He's gonna snort. Yeah, the only thing that came to mind when you said it was stronger than kindred, but looks human, and he's still like kind of squishing this one a little bit between his fingers. That's the only thing I could think of.
Also
Unless there's something stranger out there.
Also causes people to get riled up. That's very characteristic.
Yep. I haven't seen much of this around normally. It's quite a rare commodity. And he's gonna look to Roland specifically. This guy said he had a lot of this.
I don't think he has enough to do wide distribution. He said I would be sole provider, which probably means he has a limited supply. And I think he said he had 150, 160 of these bags.
What?
150 to 160.
And he looks down, like, even though it's a small size, he's still, like, it just has, like, shocked eyes. He has how much?
150 or 160. I was kind of seeing red when he was in the room. I wasn't paying attention, but I'm sure it's over 150.
You hear from the back O'Connell give a bit of a whistle, and Clementine starts stirring a little bit because of the noise.
If that was lupine, that's a lot.
I don't know what is a lot and what is a little in this scenario.
Let's just say if he could produce that per day, that'd be 53.
What? No, not per day. That's just what he has right now.
Yes, but think about that implication.
As far as these things go, who knows how long he's been collecting this? And anyways, you said Dr. Kim knew about it, correct?
Yes. Dr. Kim would be the one to be able to identify if it's his.
Roland will take out his cell phone and call Kim. Oh, this is like the first time I get to hold the phone up to my ear.
What time is this, out of curiosity?
Since you guys already went to bed and there was all the nonsense going on, it's the night before, so we're gonna say that Shard, or Roland rather, gets her voicemail.
What's on the answering machine of Kim's
Yeah, Elvish, what's your answering machine?
It's really underwhelming. She's a doctor. You've reached the voicemail of Dr. Brown. I will get back to you at my earliest convenience. Please leave your name and number, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you. Bye.
That's perfect.
Dr. Kim, call me back as soon as possible. I have something of importance for you to look at. Thank you. Roland will close his phone and kind of toss it on the bed all willy-nilly. She's busy with whatever she's doing. Do we how do we proceed?
I wouldn't just randomly drink blood you don't know.
That'd be my recommendation as well.
Yeah, that's not exactly what I meant. Roland kind of looks over towards Felix. How much do you know about the Setites and the Brujas?
Like a connection between the two, or just should I just generically say some stereotypes?
That answers my question just enough. Benedict, how do you think this plays out?
Sorry, that was to Benedict?
Yep.
He puts the small bag of blood back in the suitcase and snaps it shut again, places it on the desk that's behind him. What exactly do you mean?
I mean, it's obviously, I don't know. Maybe this is more a conversation to be having with the Bruja and another string we have in this whole complicated situation. I don't know. More products, more dealings with Dom, more time with him. I don't enjoy it.
Well, to be perfectly frank, as far as having the Succubus Club here for business is something you really shouldn't pass up. But as far as dealing with this asshole, with this blood, distributing it, that could be something else. That could be trouble. In more ways than one.
It could be a lot of trouble, especially if they're trying to frame you.
Frame me with what are you talking about? What is...
Well, if it
Benedict starts shaking his head and tries to cut Felix off. No. I don't think it's a framing thing. I think it's him. If this is werewolf blood, this shit's fucking addictive. I'm not talking drugs. Well, maybe for humans, but for kindred, they're gonna want more. And it's exactly Setite MO.
Yes, but he's not the only person getting this, though.
What do you mean?
I mean, I was asking questions about the lupine for a reason. Not technically comfortable specifying the details, but I would get with Kim. Is what I mean.
Well, the lady who runs the Succubus Club, I'm meeting her tomorrow at some time. I could meet with the doctor in the early nights and we can try and figure this out. Does that work out time-wise, or
yep.
They already played?
They have woken up and been talking, but it's early morning. They've just been having a conversation. It wasn't a massive span of time, like maybe an hour.
Early night morning?
Yes. Yes! Shut up. Fuck off. Anyway, Benedict is actually gonna yawn a little bit, and you're gonna hear Clementine. She's gonna be like very sleepy, like, Roland, are you? What's going on?
Yeah, Roland is Clem, nothing. And he kind of unbuttons his like suit jacket, but he still has like his tie and shirt on, and he kind of just like walks backwards up against the bed and just plops in between Sunshine and Clementine. Just nothing. Let's just go to sleep and hope there's no ghost, Felix, and
what? No, those ghosts.
And we'll go see Dr. Kim in the morning. Night.
Benedict closes his eyes, softly chuckling himself to sleep.
Felix totally has a ghost here, though. It's a ghost buddy. It's in the court, of course.
Of course.
Of course.
That's where Ghost Buddy stays.
All right. I think at this pace, I know it's quite early, but let's actually just finish off our last little break AMA, and we'll get back to it, because I think it might be everybody all together for this last little bit of the night. So the last ones will be Roland and Kim.
All right.
So let's start with Chard as Roland. Go ahead and ask Kim questions about himself as a player or about his character. Let's get your Rasta music going.
Yeah, ask me some questions. Work is going good. We're like, I feel whenever I talk about hot weather in Washington and us complaining about it, it makes me feel like a pussy because it's like, oh, it's so hot here. Like it was like 85 degrees. We were sweating. We're melting here. We can't handle it.
It's all relative.
For sure. We're not used to it.
Relatively lame.
For sure. Like
5 degrees. That's downright comfortable.
Washington, if it's anywhere below 74, it's cold. If it's anything above 74, it's too hot. Like that's our only temperature we can handle, and everything else is bullshit to us.
What's the humidity?
High. It's up there. I don't know. Look at it. I would imagine most people in Washington don't check the weather because it's never correct here. Like they can tell you whatever you want. And it's barely ever right. But with work, I'm outside the whole time except for like an hour or so in the morning. So I get to enjoy plenty of sun. Working my ass off. It's fun. Why the hell would you drink? Why? Because he's like Roland was a partier. And someone would just plopped a whole new party favor in his lap and was just like, "Hey, here's this new thing you've never had before." He's interested.
Richard.
What?
Oh, something's going on with the desktop music or sound.
Sounds fine on my end. Graham, why would you not drink Strange Blood? That's a better question. Ooh, I handled a fucking Amazon package today, and you guys need to do a better job taping your shit up. It was horrible. It was bad. What part of the Amazon process are you? Like, do you deliver or are you a handler? Receiver, got you.
I packages come in on trucks, and I take the packages out of the trucks or out of the boxes and put them on parts. That's my job.
How many times have you seen a package get slammed in like?
I mean, today's my second day, so
okay.
That. But I mean, hell, they fall off the conveyor belts all the goddamn time.
My first time there, I mean, it's insane. You'll just be walking through and someone will just like, there's some 50-year-old lady who's working the conveyor and package is too heavy. She's short-tempered and she just fucking throws it. And oh man, the first day I was there was eye-opening on how horribly handled packages are.
Yeah, I've already handled 2 packages of sex toys today.
Nice.
How fun. I do remember quick, really funny stories. I was working at a company that like sold secondhand stuff, kind of. It was like a pawn shop through eBay. And we sold some industrial cooking stuff from a McDonald's that had closed down, and it got returned to us. This is like industrial steel cooking equipment, and they were broken. How did you do that? Boxes were like soaking wet, ripped up. It was amazing. It was that Ron Burgundy, I'm not even mad, I'm just impressed.
Yeah, I mean, there are times where like one of the guys who taught me how to like properly fill up your truck. He gave me pointers, and there's times where I don't listen to him, and I take a sharp turn, and all of your packages fall off of a shelf onto the other packages underneath it, and those boxes get fucked up. Like it just happens. For sure. Yeah, if you're sending something, make sure it's
To be
properly
fair, though,
wrapped.
Amazon is pretty big on their customers, so usually if it's an Amazon package, they'll usually take the blame, even if it was definitely the if it was definitely the FedEx guy's fault. Amazon would probably still take the blame.
Yeah, FedEx would probably do the same as well.
All right, and last but not least, let's get some questions going for our lovely Elvish dame, the Dr. Kim Brown. Ask her questions about herself as a player or as her character.
Prince and Dom, what even is? I don't fucking know, man. I'm excited to fucking piece this shit together and be like, alright guys, we're going in! A little bit, so super, super excited. Oh my god, Kim is gonna be ecstatic when she finds this convention. She's gonna be like, I knew it! I fucking knew it! It's gonna be fucking fantastic. What will my platform be as Prince? A safer city. Or try to, anyway. No, I don't know. Kim's toast not old enough to even pretend that she could even be Prince at all, whatsoever. Or high enough ambition, low enough. The ever going conundrum of high versus low gen and what that even means as far as the terminology itself. But no, I am actually really excited to find this out and learn, because Kim actually really does like politics a little bit, which is kind of bad. To an extent.
I will say, when Dom handed Roland
the bag, I was like, oh, there it is!
I kind of lost my Spira. So, good on that.
I saw both of you in Elvish. I was kind of watching the screens while I said it.
But yeah, no, totally. That, are we all looking at the screen, I guess? Okay.
We're trying to make Chard feel a little bit better about this.
Thanks, guys.
Random.
Alright, but yeah, no, it's yeah, cool. Then I noticed you doing the Team America. I don't know what that is. I'm sorry. If it's a pop culture reference, I most likely don't know what it is. I'm sorry.
It's not even that pop of a culture.
Oh,
But
she
I
missed my
just
question.
don't know what it is. What was your question? Not gonna have nightmares about you tonight? Probably. Depends
Not
on
all of us, but the group at this point.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, probably. Yes, absolutely, totally. I mean, she has nightmares most every night. Just like
It's
premonitions,
going to be a little
things.
more vivid with
Just-
posed and
Just a tad, just a little bit. I haven't described her as crying, and that's because I cry more easily than Kim does. But she's pretty close to it. Like, there's red in the corner of her eyes, Yeah.
No, it's probably right at this point. It was basically when he was talking about the kids. That's what happened.
Yeah, a little bit. Alright, so Kim is absolutely not going to go off on a rant about how she has, like, a nephew and a niece because she does not want people knowing about them for good reason. I'm surprised no one asked her why she has a pair of children's clothes in her apartment. But,
We're all a little bit into our own shit right now.
exactly. No. But, that was just totally fair, and honestly what she was kind of hoping for a little bit, in a terrible way. But, yeah, so I think that's... And she has a brother who she still keeps in touch with. I mean, she's still young as a vampire, and her brother has a daughter and a son. The son's about, 10. The son's 10, almost 11, and the daughter's, 6. So,
Well, I got a
with
question.
Clem's age,
What-
yeah.
I got a question. At what age are you gonna stop
seeing them because it'll be too obvious that you haven't aged.
I don't know. And that's something she's going to have to deal with eventually. But it
Nate
probably...
can help with that.
Luckily for her, yeah, A, yes. B, luckily for her, she already kind of looks old. A little bit. She looks like a stressed, tired person and close to age 50. So she already has gray in her hair. She already has wrinkles. Like, it wouldn't be hard to get away with being, I'm Asian. I look this age forever. So
until you hit the point where you look 200.
Jesus. They're not going to be around for age 200, though.
No. From my experience, there's so many Asian people that are young.
Where they shrink
like
all of
the
them.
next day.
That's just old people in general.
Looking like 30 to looking 200. There is nothing in between.
Yeah. But no, like, she actually does try to keep in touch with them. She kind of had to have them stop visiting her because she can't be around during the day, which is weird. She tries to play that off as far as contacting them, as far as having weird hours and working the job that she does. But she can't really talk to them that much otherwise. She tries to, like, do things for, like, Christmas and their birthdays at least, or at least send them things if she can't make it somewhere. But, like, yeah, no, she does actually still really love her family. She's very much still in touch with them and just doesn't tell anybody about it. So
Keep away from Roland, you might embrace them.
Yeah, kind of fuck them. It's just
Younger the better.
child.
Wait, they call them childs. I thought that's what you were supposed to. Am I wrong here?
Yeah, you're right.
All right, so this is actually an interesting thing that I learned that I thought about for a second. So Kim, to an extent, can't entirely lose her humanity without just becoming completely estranged from her own, or as crazy. Yeah, because every time she feeds on anyone, she sees things from their perspective and their memories. At the least. She will never be completely removed from humanity, ever. Like, that's just a thing.
No, it could at least be argued that there is theoretically a Malkavian out there with sanguinary animism that when they feed, they view the person's memories, yeah, but they thrive on the negative memories instead of
But sure, it's like a proof of concept. Yeah, like
I will say what would happen is the idea of losing your humanity is your beast starts taking over. So while Kim could end up theoretically at a low enough humanity where she goes and feeds willy-nilly, even feeding to death on humans, and then maybe botches or whatever else, and start to experience their memories even becoming them for a night. When she eventually turns back to herself, she's still low humanity, and it's still going to be a case of her at, like, I think 4, like, your beast is taken over to the point that you want to go out and hurt people and kill and eat and drink too much and that sort of thing. So you would still go back to that eventually. Being in that mindset, almost like a hallucination, it's just part of your sanguinary animism. It isn't who you are.
yeah, that's true.
Humanity is a very interesting thing in this game. It's very think of it with Hunter, like the whole like gaining too much power and starting to go crazy. Lower humanity, beast starts to take over. That's why, oh, look at them. But that's why at the way lower levels, like the 3, 2, and 1, you start becoming nothing but a literal monster. The old school werewolf that just goes and tears out the throats of anything it comes across. I have a little cricket on my mic. Hi, little cricket. It's got, like, okay, the length of its body is like 2 centimeters, but then its antennae are like 5 centimeters. It's interesting.
Whoa.
Dope.
Alright, but I think we can get back to the game.
Yeah. It's been 50 minutes.
Who's next?
I took a picture of my buddy and I'll show it later. Anyway, right, so let's go back to the apartment. Roland and Felix, as well as the Nosferatu, tucked themselves into bed. Going back to the conversation the next day between Angel, Nate, Kim, and Ike, you guys had really started spilling your guts, explaining some of your own personal backstories, talking about the war, arguing a bit about the sects and what they meant to you and your personal views of them. And I think the conversation really ended with some of the hard-hitting stuff from Nate.
Well, yeah, maybe that's enough fucked up shit for one day.
Yeah, I'm definitely sharing comment for the moment.
I'm gonna pull out my my phone to fuck around and see that I have a voicemail.
What time is it?
Probably 8. Maybe a little earlier. You guys woke up pretty early because you'd all not had a great night or day. Night and day. All bad.
So that being said, I'm yeah. Well,
Are you raising your hand, Modi, or you're just stretching?
No. Sorry. That's just...
Yeah, so I'm gonna...
I've done that too. Just
I
arm up.
No, but I'm going to pull out my phone, kind of avoid talking about what we've been talking about, and see that I got a call. Oh, Felix called me.
Hold on.
I'm okay. While she's doing that, what was your voicemail?
I want to hear this, please.
I don't... Wait, did Felix leave one? Because we didn't really cover if he did or didn't.
No, but he did call, so there'd be a missed call.
Would he know not to leave a voicemail?
I was gonna say, I feel like it might be like an awkward, like, oh,
Yeah,
I guess he's
please
not
leave.
there.
Oh, I will say this. Felix was already talking to the phone, so there's a halfway conversation on there.
Just do it. Just play it for us.
No, I need the second half of a conversation.
Hey, let's see. I'm gonna say the whole conversation and then I'm gonna cut point. Hey, Angel. I am talking to, I think, Machine, which I don't know if it translates completely over to the correction. Anyway, I was looking for a place to sleep on, cutover, tonight for a, just so I can get away from everything. How about, if you know how to do it, can you call me back on this thingy, on the number that I do? I think I might just leave it, Lawrence, and hang up.
Okay.
After some confusion trying to close it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit hoping that I would hear the I'm looking for a place that sleeps, so I'd be like, oh shit, Felix! I'll probably text him and be like, you okay? Full letters, because I'm not that.
I don't even know if he'd be able to respond to it. He knows a text, he just doesn't know how to respond to text.
So it would probably show up on your home screen. So you would know that I am asking if you were okay.
Oh, he does have a smartphone! Shit.
And you know how to use a phone, because that was a thing that you learned or rolled or something. I don't know.
Something, yeah. I mean, it's not like he has technophobia or anything like that. I didn't spend any and didn't get any points for it. But, does Felix get the message? StorytellerSpira. I think.
Let's say, Roland, Felix, and Benedict, you guys wake up, maybe a little later than everybody else at Kim's apartment because you guys, you didn't have much concern. These guys were waking up after having massive nightmares and all kinds of other things. A little more easy to see the sun setting. So if you guys maybe chatted a bit more about what the Succubus Club thing is, the Werewolf Blood, what to do next, maybe even Roland texted Kim again, hey, if you can't get back to me, I have some questions. You'll finally get the text from Angel.
I'm just writing down Succubus Club because Felix really just got whoosh on that one. Oh, I get a text. He just announces that.
Roland?
What? Yes.
You're in the scene now. Felix got a text and he just said it out loud out of nowhere. Benedict and O'Connell will just not really respond much, hi.
Who did you get a text from?
I think that order of... I think that's Angel.
What about?
What did Angel send in the text as?
I think the words were just, "Are you okay?"
Oh, he's just asking, okay. And you see, he puts the phone down, and he clicks it, and then he starts, just with one finger, tapping. It's kind of like on a keyboard, with just two fingers, tapping on a keyboard. That's exactly what he does with his cell phone. Just, one finger moving. Takes him a good couple of minutes, and then he starts clicking on the thing with perfect English, all spelled, capitalized, everything. I'm okay. Do you know where Kim is? And this takes a good 15 minutes before it takes.
By which time she's probably started calling Roland back.
Yeah, she already is. I don't have my phone. Here it works, right? This works.
It's funny because you're
exactly. It's appropriate.
Is that a brush?
No, it's my... Oh, that's her. She said it's a mirror.
She is a Malkavian.
It is a mirror. I'll use brush.
Make the ringing noise. We're gonna do this full. Hello.
Hi, you called me.
No, yes. Kim, I think there's something we need to urgently meet up for.
Sure. What is it?
It has something to do with blood. Not your usual orders, but I need you to look into something for me.
Yeah, I can do that. What did you need me to look into?
I need you to test a certain type of blood and tell me where it comes from. Felix says it might be Lupin, but you know how he is.
Angel will respond back, yes, she's here at her apartment, period.
She says they're there.
Good. Yes. All the people. Yes.
I'm listening to exactly what Kim was saying, and she has not had anything to believe.
Thank you, Felix.
Thanks, Felix. Hashtag thank you, Felix.
But yes, I need you to do some tests and tell me what it is.
Yeah, I can do that, sure. Let's see. I need to take care of something, and then I can meet you at the hospital morgue in an hour.
An hour sounds perfect. It'll give me time to wake up. Yes. Yeah, I'll see you there in an hour.
Okay. Thank you.
Roland will hang up.
I think Felix was maybe looking for you for some reason.
Felix?
Hey, he texted me asking where you were.
I'll tell him I'm going to the lab in an hour, I guess.
It says that Kim's at the lab in an hour.
Thank you, Felix. You're
You're
a
welcome.
valuable contribution to all this.
You're welcome. I am still trying to figure out this thing.
You're doing great with it, buddy. Just keep it up. Benedict, I'm gonna go get the blood tested. Clem will be coming with me. Are you guys going to be around?
Benedict will look at O'Connell and then back to you and sort of shake his head as if he's weighing the situation. I don't know what O'Connell feels like getting up to, but I'm coming along. You guys owe me enough information. I want to find out what the hell this shit is.
I mean, I do give you a place to stay, but yes, obviously, information comes free to you. I'm not.
He stands up from his chair, laughing. You think this pays off all your old debts?
I was hoping.
He
Roland.
was just kind of last, but he's like, I have no idea what's going on.
So, are Sunshine and I still in bed, and is Clementine still next to us?
Wait, did you sleep together?
Yeah, we all sleep together like a big fucking
Like-
Willy Wonka.
Like all in the same bed?
Yeah.
Including.
Well, no.
Roland?
Benedict just fell
Or
asleep in a
Benedict?
chair.
Yeah.
Benedict just slept in a chair.
Okay.
Yeah, and you weren't in the bed either.
No, I found a corner. I have one corner. Ghost Friend has other corner.
O'Connell's like gathering some stuff. She's putting her tablet in a bag and slinging it over her shoulder. I got shit to do anyway.
All right. Well, let's get a move on. I'm not sure how bad traffic is going to be. Felix, are you coming?
Yeah, probably. Yes, actually, I'll come. But do we have?
Yes.
It's,
Yes. You're gonna ask about the car, aren't you?
It's not far.
Yeah. We are taking the car.
It's about the same.
Quick question. Kim said she was going to just head to the
No,
hospital.
Yes,
Okay.
but no, I was gonna go. All right, so I need to go to work, and I'm sure all of you do as well.
I still look at you funny, like what?
What you mean?
But Daniel, though.
About that.
I have arrangements later, Doc. I have to meet up with someone important who would not be happy for me to show up late.
She looks at you curiously, but doesn't ask in front of everyone. Okay. Nate, you said you had arrangements?
I mean, his arrangements are staking and bringing him up.
Yeah, I figured.
Oh yeah, which I'm not laughing about.
Nate, I'm sure your house is already crazy with the amount of riffraff you tend to bring home, me included, but I could maybe take you or ride with you guys back to Claudia's, and at least we know he'll be safe in her hands.
Wait, Claudia on the bike?
Yeah, she's
Yes.
figured me out. I think almost, well, our circle knows except Roland.
Yeah, he doesn't really care.
I don't know, that was in character.
What's Roland's last name?
Jacobs.
What, Roland Jacobs, the guy who runs Rebels Kitch?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's who I was on the phone with.
What?
I don't think he knows yet, but I owe him a favor or two, so that might be fun.
Because I've basically never interacted with him except for like way early. Why the fuck was the club on calling you?
I don't know. He said he had some blood he wanted me to test or other. It is my job. You know,
Yeah,
that's what I'm here for.
I mean, technically your job is looking at bodies, not blood, but you know.
My job is looking at anything that anyone asks me to. That's what I do.
So what are we gonna do about Daniel?
I don't.
I mean,
He seemed cooperative, and I don't want to ruin that. That's the problem. So.
I mean, we can't very well. I mean, I guess we could leave him, but then you know the Tremere might fucking find him again.
Yeah, I don't want to take him back to the Tremere. I don't want to.
Claudia, guys,
In
Claudia.
that vein, I don't want
Claudia.
to send him to the prince at all. Yes, I can trust Claudia, but I don't.
I would be happy to take Daniel off your hands.
I will go
Yes,
with
but
him.
I feel responsible. All right, I told him I wouldn't. No,
Well,
I only
that's-
told. I did not tell him I wouldn't stake him again. I told him that I would not hand him to the Tremere. So technically, I'm still correct. Yes.
You
he
don't
can
have to stake him. He can just go with us to Claudia. She's the most understanding kind I have ever met. She didn't stab me on sight. She kept him, he's gonna point at Nate, from stabbing me on sight. And if she was here, she probably wouldn't let you stab me. So
That's true.
I'm pretty sure we can trust her to know what's best. And I don't think she trusts the prince anyway. So whatever this is, I'm sure he's gonna be safe.
All right, let me go talk to him.
Yes, it's our best option. Would you like? Yeah, probably best if I don't come. I stabbed him.
Yeah.
In fact, in his presence, I've stabbed 2 people now, so.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna
I
go talk.
just let you know, Kim, this is not a normal thing. I have not stabbed anybody since the war. It's just, in the past couple weeks, it's been a little bit crazy, I promise. Well, there was the one. Never mind.
I don't want to know. All right. I'm going to go talk to him. Thank you. So she goes back into the bathroom where Daniel is.
Alright, so when you enter the bathroom, I imagine like you knock and there's like no noise. So if you slowly maybe creak the door open and take a look inside, you'll see Daniel sitting on the floor, knees close to his chest, like arms kind of over his knees, but he looks very calm. He looks like he's just like someone who's bored, just waiting for a bus. He's just sitting there, just waiting.
Hello, Daniel.
He'll look up. That's Dr. Brown, right?
Yeah. Hi. So here's the thing. I need to go to work. We have someone that we can send you to that I trust, and others out there trust.
What do you mean, Sky?
And we're going to send you to her, escorted by 2 people, okay?
He squints with a slightly distrusting look and says, "Who's that?"
Sending you to Claudia. She's a brew pop.
What do all of you want with me?
Honestly, we're not sure. We want to know what you know. I'm not giving you to the Tremere. That I promise, and that I'm keeping.
What do you mean, what I know?
anything that you might remember.
About what?
How you ended up in the sewer, how you ended up at that warehouse, anything at all.
He's gonna sigh, slowly stand up and say, fine.
Right. So, come on out here. And she kind of like opens the door and brings him out for everybody.
He just kind of gazes like direct at the floor, just doesn't look at anyone in particular.
Alright, that's Nate. That's Ike. They're going to be taking you to Claudia.
He just stands and waits for them to move.
Nate will go ahead and just walk towards him, hand out, just kind of like waiting for the guy to react at all, and if he doesn't, just put his arm kind of hand on his arm and just kind of start motioning towards the door.
As you put your hand out, like waiting for him to do something, he just puts his in his hoodie pocket.
All right.
I'm gonna sit like actively, casually, to show that I'm not gonna stab him this time. Again, like one-time deal.
Ike's gonna actually just like walk up to him like a kid, kind of like grab him around the arm and be like, "Come on, mister, let's go. Claudia's really nice. You'll like her."
He'll look over at you and something in his eyes, not that it puts you off, but like you really recognize something you've seen in the Sabbat before.
In that he actually recognizes that pair of eyes, because that pair of eyes belonged to somebody else before.
No, sorry, more just, no, just like, it's just a recognized look.
It's good. I'm not gonna give any. I'm gonna try not to react to it.
Right, so Nate, Ike, and Daniel take off. That leaves... What's up?
And right before I leave, it's just turn to Cam and when you figure out what's going on with Felix and Roland, just let us know. And with that, he'll leave.
Alright, so you guys are going to be heading to Claudia's. Angel and Kim are left behind. Angel, are you going to the hospital as well?
She hasn't invited me, so I'm gonna head to work.
Okay. So...
yeah. Sorry, bro. Yeah, no. She doesn't think that there's a reason to yet.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have my phone on me.
This is standard Camarilla shit. Hey, Kim, go do this. Fine.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go and let my ghouls know that I'm fine, and probably, like...
Not dead.
Be a little bit gushy with them, and be like, you know, I fucking love you guys. Just let you know.
Aww.
I like it.
Even if I do send you on drug runs, Tanya, sorry about that, by the way.
Alright, perfect. Roland and I think Felix was gonna go along to the hospital?
Yes.
Alright, and Benedict's gonna go in tow. Benedict's gonna go in tow. Let me actually have one roll this game.
Ooh.
Oh,
Is it for drive? Is it to freak out?
If
Felix
you wanna, I was actually gonna have Benedict actually roll for his mask.
Yeah, I'll do it.
You guys can roll whatever you want whenever you want.
I wanted to use presence on a random NPC, just like on the street, just to see if I could.
Ike's like, fuck it, I got more than 14 blood points. I'll just spend 7 for no reason.
Oh right, I also need to feed because I lost 4 blood points yesterday, which is quite a bit for me.
Yeah, Kim lost some blood points as well doing the dementation. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I lost some too, but that's just because I was staked.
Alright.
Shut up.
So Benedict does his very usual look that definitely Felix has seen. Roland might have seen once, like in passing, but it is just like a middle-aged man with dark short hair, swarthy kind of look, darker skin, a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow. Doesn't like change anything that looks about his clothes or his height or anything, but his voice sounds a bit more normal, and he'll head out with you.
Oh, Ben.
Benedict, yes.
No, Ben. I think he introduced himself
Yes.
as Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yes.
Alright, so you guys head over to the hospital, maybe waiting a little bit so you make sure that Kim gets there first. And after a little while, you arrive, you know the back entrance to head in there, and Kim, you'll have already arrived. Is there anything you wanted to do, like, say, before these guys show up?
Kind of hurriedly look through what I was supposed to have done the previous day, which instead I went out to dinner.
Yeah, you have a bit of backed up work, which,
I mean, I always do.
Mm-hmm.
But even more so.
Yeah. But nothing that was, like, so pressing, it was gonna be a big problem. You're hoping right now you can maybe catch up over that night and Fargus won't, be breathing down your neck again.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so then after a little while, Roland and Felix show up with a man you have not seen before.
Dr. Kim, thank you for seeing us on such short notice.
Bonjour.
Evening.
Hi. Hello, who is this?
You can call me Ben.
Hello, Ben. I'm Dr. Brown.
Pleasant to meet you.
Well, not to take up too much of your time, but there's a man who has a new product that he wants me to sell to my club, and we don't exactly know what it is, and he's being a little bit secretive of the whole thing. Felix here says that it might be lupine blood, and you might know about it, and we're just here for you to test it.
The description came up as, let's see, makes people very excited after drinking, is more potent than normal blood. I'd have to say that fits the bill.
Kim's eyebrow just kind of arches and she's like, alright, bring it over here. She kind of leads them into like the back where she's kind of like set up her mini lab.
Oh, so is your creepy, I don't know what to call him. Is he friend gonna show up again?
What?
The one that hides in the shadows.
My sire?
Is that your sire?
The other doctor.
Yes.
That's my sire.
Okay.
That's Dr. Fargus.
The creepy Fargus sire. Yes.
The man known as Ben just chuckles slightly.
Should I have a watch up for him or something? He just comes out of nowhere.
No, I'm doing work. It's fine. Let's go.
Okay. Felix will
Kim!
go around.
Kim does in fact raise aspects though. She wants to see their auras.
Alright, give me a roll. 1 sec.
That's easy cheat. Let me get Kim. Let's.
It is perception, empathy. Difficulty is equal to the subject's manipulation and subterfuge. So just roll your perception, empathy. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Sorry. Perception, empathy, just 8.
Just 8. Okay.
Looking in the wrong spot.
Nope. 1 cancels the 10.
Music.
Alright, so maybe you're just a little extra nervous about if Fargus is gonna come by and you don't know who this Ben guy is and everything's just maybe a little bit throwing you off, and now you're like really like, wait, they think they might have lupin blood, what the fuck's going on? So you're just having too much of a difficult time testing their auras.
Okay. back here. And she kind of like looks around a little nervously and like waves them into the back where like the stuff is, and then she has also set up her little kind of mini test thing with a microscope and like the petri dishes and all that.
Clementine is here as well. I don't
She
think
is?
Yeah, she is.
Oh shit! Hold on.
She was being a good girl, staying a little more quiet and behind Roland, just watching and listening.
No, Kim would have addressed her. Oh hi, hi Clementine.
Hi, Dr. Brown.
How are you?
I'm good. Just hear the Roland and see what's up.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. All right. Here, let me show you. And she just kind of brings them in. And it's like, okay. All right. So you have the bag.
Roland has a cooler with him, and he opens it up. How many did you say were in there? 2?
2 small ones.
And he'll hand her one of them.
You have more than okay. She takes it and it's like, all right. So best way to do this, and she's kind of demonstrating so that Clementine can see. Like she really just wants to show science things. She enjoys this. And she takes the correct amount from like the end with the syringe of the, which is only a couple, like not entirely even the syringe full of the blood, and puts it in a petri dish, and it's like, okay, if this is in fact lupin blood, it will react to this. And she picks up the silver that she had before, and just kind of like has put it low enough, like on a lower counter, honestly, so that Clementine can see it, and puts it in the petri dish with the lupin blood.
It reacts the same way as the lupin blood you tested before.
That is lupin blood.
Ah. Smelled like a duck, looked like a duck. As they say. Or Canadian goose.
This, she says, and she takes a thing of like tweezers and pulls up the silver little, like, just blob of it. It's like, this is silver. It does not like silver.
Clementine has wide eyes, like a kid at the Franklin Institute. Wait, that's just for us. But anyway, something in the nearby area. They do kid demonstrations for science. Anyway, and she's just like kind of wide-eyed, like, wow.
Yeah, apparently I thought it was really cool too. They don't, the blood itself, not just the lupins themselves, the blood itself doesn't like silver in it either. It just kind of bubbles away.
Huh.
So, Roland, just for the whole audience, how many bags of this was there out there?
There is 160 bags.
60?
Of half pint bags, yes.
Quarter.
Quart pint bag.
And the brown bowl.
Kim just starts laughing. Just okay. Here, do you mean this? And she kind of just opens the huge crate of 160 bags in it. That?
The crate that had the 40 bags in it is empty.
Do you mean, oh shit. Oh, look at that, it's gone.
What is gone?
Oh, I had a whole crate that was full of lupin blood.
Wasn't that full?
Yeah, it
Felix?
was.
Didn't Felix see that? Did Felix see that? Storyteller here.
I think you were vaguely aware that the morgue had blood in it, yeah, from the earlier conversations.
I know she pulled one out. I just wasn't sure if he saw it.
Dr. Kim, did you have lupine blood in your laboratory?
She goes and like looks down at her clipboard and like looks at that. Yeah, 40 of it worth. Mm-hmm.
That's 40 big bags. Just for math translation.
Yes. So, where is it now?
That is a fantastic question. I don't know.
Roland looks around. Is there windows or anything that leads into the laboratory?
No, just the door. There's no windows in the laboratory. You don't want sunlight degrading any samples.
Roland will go look at the door. Has there been any evidence of like a break-in?
Nope.
No?
Nope.
Oh man, I didn't have to roll for that. That's good. Could it have been stolen?
All right, how deep in this are you willing to get?
I'm in it. They want me to sell it, and by want me to sell it, it's more like I am. Oh, you know about me being blood bonded, don't you? We talked about this.
Yes, I do. I was there.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. The man who blood bonded me is the man who is wanting me to sell this. So I don't so much have an option of it, but I am selling it. So when you ask how deep into this do I want to go,
The Setite wants
Yeah.
you to sell this.
Yes, he says I'll be the only man who has his hands on it in the city.
That's beautiful. Oh, that's beautiful. Oh, well done. Well, oh, that's all right. Do you know who got this for me?
What's Ben doing? What's Ben doing?
Just listening. Like, hands behind his back, even politely, like, I'm not really here.
What was your question, Kim?
You know who got this for me?
No.
Honestly, I want you to guess. Just, I was specifically commissioned to move and look at this.
By whom?
Who do you think would have that power?
If we could just come out with it instead
That's
of asking
fine.
questions.
I'm
Thank you.
sorry. You're right. No, I'm right. It's Regina.
Oh. Well, I mean, there still could be multiple outcomes on why this is happening. Like, maybe the Setites just knew you had it and they stole it. Or, oh. Did she come back to claim it, or was it stolen?
No. No, I was told that it would be moved, and it has been moved.
Oh. Then it looks like Regina is in cahoots with the Setite.
There you go.
So,
This gets a little more complicated.
The question now is, what do we even do about it, if anything?
Did Angel catch you? I'm forgetting. Did we actually tell Kim about the whole? We know about a whole Lupin thing.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you and Angel both told me about that. Yes.
Yes. Okay, just make sure. Well, this gets a little more complicated.
well, the question I have for you two is, how do you feel about Regina being so close to the Setite?
I want to say this gets a little more complicated. What happens if I say there might be Lupin wandering around the city? And he gives an eye to Ben. Like, buddy, I'm telling you something.
Kim's keeping a huge eye on Ben too, just because he's a stranger and she has no idea who he is.
Benedict's gonna raise an eyebrow. Were really any of you unaware of this at this point?
Wait.
Trying to remember if Roland actually knew if there were or not.
Did Benedict just basically say, I do know that they're wandering around?
Yeah.
Is that different from what he said earlier, or is that basically?
He said that he knew there were plenty in the city. He might not be understanding what you mean.
Yeah, I'll continue. What I mean is there might be Lupin trying to find out where this blood might be coming from.
Now Ben will look a little bit more like,
Like, we might even have a place and location. It might be just something me and Angel had stumbled upon.
I'll send a text message to what's your character's name again? Nobody.
Nate.
Nate. Why would I thought it now. There, right. Just saying, like, we need to talk now.
We need to talk now?
ASAP?
I was just clarifying you got in trouble.
Oh, yes. ASAP.
And
We got enough time, so let's cut over actually to Nate and Ike taking Daniel over to Claudia's.
so we escorted him down to the car. I think Nate, or I'd be more than happy to let Ike handle the most of the touching and the escorting.
Daniel's just going to be, unless you speak to him directly, he's just going to be quiet, keeps his hands in his pockets, face down, eyes down, and doesn't really say or do much, just kind of lets you lead him along.
I want to keep an eagle eye on him. That look, I did not like that look earlier. And I'd also like to, when we get out, before we get in the car, maybe check around and make sure Father's not skulking about like he likes to do.
I'm not even gonna make you roll, he isn't.
Okay. Too many Sabat for Ike's liking. But yeah, so I'll kind of just like get him in the car, and I'll look at Nate and I'll go, Nate, do you want to watch him? And I'll drive. It's up to you.
Do you have a driver's license?
No.
You obviously look 13.
Who pulls over people at 10 o'clock at night driving? What? It's New York. Who cares? There's weirder shit walking down the streets. I don't think they're going to worry.
If you think the best decision is you driving, I will happily sit in the back.
I'm trying to make you comfortable with the situation. Do you want me to guard him in the back, or do you want to guard him?
Personally, if it's left up to me, I prefer to drive.
Okay, I'll sit with him. That's fine.
And, yeah, so Nate will get in the front and start heading back to Claudia.
I'm going to sit in the back seat with Daniel.
Alright. The drive is basically uneventful unless anyone has anything they want to say or do.
I'm going to just, like I said, like really sharp eye on Daniel. Any sudden movements, any quick anything.
Nothing happens. So you guys arrive at Claudia's and you can walk him up the stairs to her apartment.
When we get there, Nate will, he'll look over at Ike and just hold him here for 1 second. I don't want to go in unannounced. And walks 20 feet away, pulls out his phone, and calls Claudia.
Yeah, Nate will just hang on to him, no problem.
Not very long, like almost immediately, the phone will answer. Nate, is everything alright?
Could be complicated. We have a friend with us.
Alright, who is it now?
He had a previous life in sanitation, and we lost touch with him for a few weeks there, but looks like the doctor and the mechanic found him again.
You can hear, like, about to say, like, and then pause for a moment. If I'm understanding you correctly, you have him with you?
Yes.
Right,
I just watching him.
Are you here? Where are you?
Outside.
We'll bring him in.
Will do. And he'll click hang up and lead him upstairs.
Alright, opening the door, you see her standing, like, already basically in the middle of the living room. Arms crossed, not in an upset way, but just, like, what next?
I'm just going to walk in with, like, a really big grin, sort of, like, slightly aware of how much riffraff has been coming in and out. Look, I got another present for you, Claudia.
So I see. She's gonna look at Nate. What now? What's been going? Where were you last night? You were today. You didn't come home.
Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention. Ike is holding his like bloodied staked T-shirt, and he's got his like way too tight shirt on. And he's gonna like when she asks that, before he answers, he's gonna be like, kind of like eye her up. Claudia?
She saw that, like you can even see her eyes like go over it, but she doesn't even answer. She's still like kind of focused on the other person with you.
Before we get into this, do you think I could have one of your shirts?
She's gonna just quietly walk into her bedroom for a moment.
He's got kind of a shit-eating grin on his face. He sized her up. I'm guessing that maybe they'll fit pretty well, actually.
She comes back with like what looks like a unisex shaped band shirt and tosses it at him.
He'll start ignoring you guys and kind of take off his current really tight shirt, put the new one on.
So, where were we? This is Daniel. I'm really not. Where were we?
He's
so
the
I went
Jimmy
over
from the sewer.
Yes, but backing up. So I left to go meet. Ike had invited me over to Kim's apartment, and I showed up where there was a discussion going on, and about what to do about Daniel here, and there were some hot tempers, and we lost track of time, and the sun rose, so all decided to spend the night.
I'm just gonna hold up the shirt. Angel staked me.
Like, that's just all you get out when she says that, but she returns to being quiet, listening to Nate explain what's going on.
The discussion was about Ike's heritage, and we spent the night, sorted things out in the morning, and Kim and Angel both had 2 errands that they had to take care of. I think Roland is something going on, but so we were left with Daniel, and we figured our options were leave him alone, return him to the Tremere, or not return him to the Tremere.
Ike's gonna turn around and look at Daniel. Hey, Daniel.
He still looks at the floor, but he turns his head in your direction to motion that he's listening.
Why are you here?
He just doesn't answer.
You seem a little more together today than you were the last couple days. What's a Sabat Jemisi doing astray in the sewers? It's not your first time down there. You've been coming and going. What are you doing?
He doesn't answer.
Can you talk, Daniel?
He doesn't answer.
Well, that counts for being nice in my book. You guys have fun with it.
Nate will just kind of still standing back to the side of Daniel, look at you and just give you not quite a death glare, but a look. So Daniel, I hope you understand the gravity of the situation you find yourself in, and I find it incredibly disheartening that you're not cooperating with us or making this any easier for us. I'm being honest with you, could end up a lot better for you if you would simply be open with us and give us something to work with. But this whole silence thing is simply not working.
You'll see the tiniest, like, corner of his mouth smirk up and a slight snorted laugh, kind of. I don't think that's how they try to get information out of people in POWs.
Is that what you consider yourself as a POW? And last I heard, the war has ended 5 years ago.
He doesn't answer or move his head anymore.
Nate will glance at Claudia.
She's just been quietly watching all of this, and you can practically see the gears working in her head.
Does above the table? Did we tell Claudia about Lily?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did. Lily likes him. That's why he's well, Nate, he's here because Lily showed us where he was magically. Not very clearly as to why. Ended up in a warehouse next to where I've been staying with the other La Sombra, and she just told us to save him, and we did, and now he's here, but I don't know why some elder Malkavian would want some random Jemesi unless we're missing a big piece here. And she only talks to Kim, so I don't even know how to go about getting her attention.
Well, Kim has yet to receive further instructions, and Lily is certainly welcome to show up at any time and claim Daniel if she felt this was important. Where is Lily? Not here. That's where.
Elders rarely act without reason. I wouldn't dismiss her so quickly. Especially, how did he get away from the Tremere again? That's odd.
Obviously, Lily snuck him out and planted him in the warehouse and orchestrated this entire event for what I can assume is shit and gig for her own amusement.
Maybe. Anyway, he's pretty much admitted to being Sabat Jemisi, and I don't know why you'd expect some sort of prisoner of war treatment, Daniel. We know what you are, you know what the punishment is, and they'll probably kill you just for finding out we had you anyway, so your life's over. How about you work a little bit and help us out? Because we know you can't go back now.
Claudia walks up close to Daniel and just like that one finger under the chin brings his face to look up at her. You'll both get a weird, sudden feeling of entrancement from Claudia, but nothing that sucks the two of you in. But but you see Daniel's face relax. She gently wraps a hand around his arm and starts walking toward her bedroom. Both of you outside.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I guess we'll step out into the hallway.
That's what she said.
Yep.
I'll step out in the hallway.
I'll step outside and immediately turn on Aspect's hearing.
Alright, you hear the door close, and we're gonna wrap it here anyway, but I will say that no matter how long you listen, you don't hear anything. What was that for, Angel?
Trying to presence some random person on the street.
Okay. Anyway, let's wrap it here for this week. Everyone has some very interesting stuff to check into next week. Let's go around and do a little bit of quick bits. We've got Kozark and Char TTY do stream. We've had some housing stuff happen recently for everybody, especially Char just moved, so might be a little bit before he's back, but definitely give him a follow anyway. He'll be back at it sooner or later. And Elvis Dame on Wednesday nights at about 9:30 p.m. EST typically does her RPG illustration. She does a lot of stuff for our game, but she'll also take requests or, you know, suggestions for things you want to see. If you want to see any scene from our games be drawn, she loves to do that. And then, of course, for our channel, we've got a couple new games going. This Friday will be episode 2 of our new Anarchs game called A War Between Factions. It is actually ST'd by Revolver C. He's an awesome variety streamer. Check him out. And you can see him on Fridays as our ST. Me and some of our regular players are in that game. Mondays will be our second episode of the new Hunter the Reckoning game. The Land Between stars Modianzas, Koznerk, Char TTY here, as well as Revolver C. Yeah, so we got some great new stuff coming up, and, you know, more in the future. Thank you for anyone who followed tonight, and I want to say thank you to all of our regular viewers, everyone who comes out pretty regularly, check our games, or even watches the VODs later. We love you all. Thank you so much for the support and the interest, and we'll talk to you later. Bye!
Good night.